What's good, everybody? It's your man CJ Kyles checking in once again, back for one more double header. And right now we have a part two to the discussion of the discussion that we had yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know, my name is CJ Kyles. I am a licensed practical nurse, and this is Befuddled Part Two. Shout out to the panelists that we had yesterday, and we have some returning guests. First guest I'd like to bring up is Nurse Shay Shay. She's in the building. And we have Nurse Jury. She's back as well. Ladies, how are y'all doing this evening?
Great. Good.
Good, good. What y'all up to today? Y'all not working today, or y'all not traveling? What's going on?
Until Sunday. Yeah, I fly out this weekend.
Oh, you fly out this weekend? That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, okay, cool, cool. I'm trying to see. They saying "uh oh" in the comments. And she and she she got the drink, so she ready today, huh? Okay, let's get it started, ladies and gentlemen. Um, okay, so what I'm trying to do, I want to wait for another guy to come on, but okay, cool, cool. I'm trying to tap on when I get up right now. Okay, cool. All right. So what's going on to everybody in the chat? This is part two of the discussion that we had yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. So I was watching some videos today, and we were talking about the trust, and we were talking about the hurt and the pain. And I kind of want to get deep today, if y'all will allow. And we can talk about this from a general standpoint. I saw a video, and the woman said that, and I know some of y'all mentioned this too, about how out of a defense mechanism, some women are the way they are. And I don't blame some women for feeling the way they feel, because honestly, there are a lot of dudes in there feminine. There are. And you can't have two feminine entities. Eventually, one is going to take the masculine presence. So let me ask y'all, in your experiences, can you elaborate on dudes being feminine? What do y'all mean exactly when y'all say, well, let me not put words in your mouth. First, let me ask you this. Do you feel most men today are feminine, like women?
I'll go first. Absolutely. Mute your mic. It's muted. It's muted. It's muted. Can you? Is it any echo right now?
Nah, no, not on my end.
So feminine, what I've seen from other men, they want to be taken care of. I've had a lot of men that were upset of the 50-50 split in the bills and everything like that, wanting to be in the house. Like I said, I've met plenty of men, when they hear travel nurse, they automatically assume, okay, she got it, she got it. That's feminine to me. So,
Mm.
like I said, how can I be a feminine woman and be comfortable and sit back when I hear things like that? So my guard will always stay up. So there's a lot of men who've told me, they just want to sit back, they want to relax, they think we got it. That's feminine to me.
Wow. Okay. And I mean, that's real talk, because I was just watching a video today, and I was in class today too, and one of the nurses that was actually in my class, and I'm not gonna say her name, but she was talking about how she was working 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts, holding it down. Let me see. Hold on. What's up, Ji? What's going on, sir? Um,
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you good. But so we
All
were
right,
talking
cool.
about we were talking about how they were working, how she was working 6 days a week. She had to take care of the mortgage. They just bought a house. When something is wrong with the kids, they call her and not the father. So I thought that was just crazy, because I would never want my woman to outwork me in no way. So I have to be objective on both sides, and try to really identify what they're seeing. So what about you, Nurse Jeree? Do you feel like today's current men, the modern man, do you feel like they're feminine from a general standpoint? Uh oh,
Um,
she's echoing. Okay, so while she trying to get it together, let
All
me.
right, can you hear me?
Yeah, all right, go ahead. You good?
I'm just gonna use her mic. That's what that was. I feel like definitely pretty much the same that I've experienced because we discussed this amongst ourselves. The same feminine energy, men asking for money, men saying, "Oh, you got it." Men constantly bringing up, knowing that I travel, knowing that I make a lot of money because they heard from who or they heard, whatever, saying that, well, since you make so much money or whatever, what do you need me for?
Mhm.
Or bringing up
Emasculation,
yeah, bringing up, oh, you think I ain't shit. You think that you're better than me. Just stuff like that. And it's just like words that I didn't even put into the air, didn't even put into the universe. And I don't treat anyone differently because of what they make or what they don't. You know what I mean? What they don't bring home. So when I'm in a relationship with these men, it's not as if, or even just on a date, it's not as if I'm throwing this stuff in their face. They just feel some type of way, and because they feel some type of way, I'm treated differently.
Mm, okay, Ji, do you feel like today's modern man is feminine? Don't want the most out of life. What do you think?
No, not at all. And what it is there's a certain type of guy that's asking chicks for gas money to come see him, blah blah. But they deal with that guy. So you can find anything you want out here. You can find people with their stuff together. You can find people without their stuff together. If these women, they're not going to guys that are already together, that have careers and jobs together, whatever, whatever. They're finding these guys that are bummy, if that's the case. But it's plenty of guys that are not bummy, that don't fit that bill. So we just live in a day and age where, and I always harp on this because it's just the reality of the situation. Our whole ecosystem has changed and it has disrupted the dating dynamic between men and women. And what comes with that is women wanting men that out earn them. But if you're a nurse and you're in this little, it's like y'all hit a gold rush, nursing, just right place, right time. But you still adjust your desires to want somebody doing better than you, and you're in a situation where that's abnormal, where you're making a lot of money because this happened. Well, that's good for you, but it's going, if you can't lower your expectations for a normal guy, if you still want somebody that's up there, then it's just going to make it harder for you to find somebody. But it's plenty of men that have their stuff together that aren't intimidated by the money that you make. So
Let
I
me
don't buy
but
that.
let me ask, do you think they're wrong for wanting a man with more money than them, that's doing better than them?
No,
Because
no,
I
not at all.
personally don't see anything wrong with
Not at
that.
all. I don't blame them. But
Mm.
it's consequences with that. Just like I don't think it's anything wrong with the nerd, playing Dungeons and Dragons with Zitz in his mom basement, with him wanting a Instagram model. But he's probably not gonna get that. But you can want whatever you want. But there comes a time where you have to um, reality adjust your desires if you want to be serious about getting something. That's all it is. Or have nothing. And some people are cool with having nothing, which is cool.
Ladies, let me ask y'all, do you feel as you've gotten older in life, your priorities have changed, especially with entering the career field that you're in, versus from what you dated and what you used to want 5 years ago? Has that drastically shifted, or has that always been your mindset of wanting this type of man? Let me start with Jeree, because I know you said you were married before. So let me ask that. Let me ask you that. I can't hear you, babe.
Okay, honestly, yes, and I feel like that is mostly due to just personal growth. I don't know. Yesterday when I said that, you kind of chuckled, but I honestly do feel like that should just be a part of anybody's anything. Like just like men should not feel comfortable being stagnant in their career, in their relationship, and anything. I feel like a woman, whether she's with somebody or not, should strive for growth. That's just everybody on any good person. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna strive to be better regardless. So I feel like as far as the relationship, that changed me. But I also feel like even if I wasn't, didn't go through that pain or whatever, or didn't suffer, I still would have had some kind of development, or at least would have hoped that I've developed in a positive way for
Mhm.
me.
What about you, Nurse Shay Shay?
Yeah, the men before, it was a lot of trial and error. I've tested it before, dating men that have made below me or the same as me. I've actually helped a man even when it came to money and all of that. And since then, the few men that I've dated, I've decided since then, and since I became a nurse, that I will no longer set those expectations and help a man to that. So like I said, I just want a man when it comes to success that he built him himself up. I've done that for myself already. So yeah,
Do
it
you
was.
feel like when you helped that man, it backfired?
Yes, it did backfire. It actually got me left. I mean, he upgraded himself. So yes.
Mm. Hmm. So okay, that's a. What do you think about that, Ji? These women are, and like I said, everybody got to start somewhere. So if you are in a situation to where you are with a woman, and let's say y'all building together, and she's helping y'all, and she's helping y'all unit or whatever y'all may be together, and y'all helping each other, and let's just say the man does quote unquote upgrade or leave. Do you feel like women um they have a legit gripe with that, or is that just a risk anytime you date?
I say that's just a risk anytime you date. But yeah, if a woman put her time and energy into building up a man, and then once he gets on, he leaves her. Personally, I think that's grimy. But it happens, it happens both ways. So it's chicks that'll they'll live off a dude or whatever. When she gets stable, she'll leave him. But yeah, so on both sides, I think that's messed up. But it is just a risk that you take in relationships. Now, as far as building a man up or whatever, I don't believe men should be letting women build them up. I don't believe, even though I'm, no marriage, no cohabitation, whatever. I don't believe in splitting bills. Whatever. I'm not one of those people that's like the man got to make $1 million. I'm no, but the man has to provide. So whatever that man can afford, that's the standard he needs to be living at, and he needs to find a chick that's gonna accept wherever he's at while he's working his way up. So if she's not okay with what he can provide, then that's just not the chick for you, and he needs to let her go and find somebody that can accept whatever he can provide. But a man's got to provide. He shouldn't be trying to split bills and first of the month come big. Where's your half? It sends the wrong message. He's got to provide and stand 10 toes down.
Hmm. Well, you do know that's not the average. Well, you do know that's not the average guy, right?
No, it can be. 'Cause see, listen, this is where I'm at with it. Say, say the average guy makes 40,000. Cool. He needs to be living that at a below his means so that he can save whatever that looks like. That he may have to have a roommate, or he may have to be in a less desirable part of town. That's just what it is. But people won't live beyond their means, and that's what gets people messed up because they try to keep up with the Joneses or whatever. Whatever standard he can live at, that's where he needs to be. And it's a woman, whatever standard that is, it's a woman that will accept that. I know this because I've seen women with homeless men that have nothing. So I know that there are women that will stand by a man no matter what you have. That's just how it goes. But he may lose some women along the way. That's just a part of it. But a man should not be living beyond his means, and a man, in my opinion, should not be looking to a woman to sustain himself financially.
Hmm. That's a good question. I'm gonna actually ask what Mr. Cabal asked. Ladies, how do y'all look at men with roommates? Being where you are now versus 5 years ago. And it may be hard to remember back then, but being where you are now, a man with a roommate. Let's say you got a man who is putting in the work, that is going somewhere, and you like the dude, but he may not be where he wants to be yet. At this point, if he had the other qualities, is that fear still lingering that he may leave once you assist him getting to where he's at. Yeah, yeah,
I honestly don't mind if there is a plan. I've
now we
like
getting somewhere. Yeah,
with
you working with him. Okay.
with my with my whole divorce situation, I was put in a position where I literally, like, the same month that I separated from my ex-husband, I had literally just passed boards. So I was literally trying to get on my feet, and I didn't want to be in the same space that he was in. He didn't want to be in the same space that I was in. So it was starting over, like, from the ground up. So I know what that's like, and I know what it's like trying to, like, navigate through a new career, or navigating through your plan, or whatever it is that you feel like you need to do to get to that next level. That's okay. But I had watched, well, we had watched a video that you had put out there, and there was something that you said, um, not dating on potential. Um, if there's potential with no plan, I mean, I can't do it. But other than that, like, I don't mind if the guy has a roommate, or, it's a weird living situation or something, if he has a plan to do something different.
Hmm. Okay. Um, Nurse Shay, I think I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
Oh, really?
I feel like I don't know what to say.
Okay, the last guy I dated, like I said, he was in aviation. He had a roommate here in Oklahoma, but I mean, he had a plan. He was a co-pilot and he was working on his captain. He also had another apartment back home. He also owned his own home that he was renting out to other people. So he had himself pretty set up. So I seen that potential. He was already there, and it actually did work out for him in the end. So yes, I can work on a little potential when I see some plan.
Once it's a plan. Okay. So let me ask you this. What would it take now in 2021 to make you feel secure in a relationship? Not just the money, but the whole package, to make you feel secure and be like, okay, I can rock with this. Because a man could lose it all tomorrow. You dig what I'm saying? Just like somebody can fall ill tomorrow. So what would it take in the whole package for you to feel secure enough to say, you know what? I'm gonna rock with you.
I think my number one thing,
Hold on,
um,
hold on, hold on. One of y'all's, yeah, one of y'all sounding. Hold on, y'all sounding like Diddy right now.
I needed it.
you did?
Mhm.
Okay. Uh,
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Wait, go ahead. Somebody go.
I think my number one thing is loyalty. I can't stress that enough, how important that is to me. Because if that's the case, then, like, if you're not loyal to me, there is absolutely no point of us even being together. We could just do open
It's
relationship.
still sounding crazy right now. It's still the
Okay.
echo sounding wild. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. While they getting that together, Ji, what do you think about their responses so far? And then once they get it together, we'll bring them back in.
Well, I think that they saying how they feel, and everybody with a roommate, like Nurse Shay was saying, it is different because it sounded like he was somewhere where he was renting out his home back home to make more money, and he was already moving towards things. So he wasn't in a roommate from being in a financially compromised situation. He was being in a roommate because it sounded like he was working, and it didn't make sense for him to try to establish roots. He already had roots, and he was already together, so he already had a plan. So a lot of this depends on the plan that the guy has. But again, I'm gonna say this. I can't stress this enough. Men do not do not look to a woman for financial security or for any type of reassurance or stability. You have to be stable in and of yourself. You have to be. And if you're not stable in and of yourself, you really probably shouldn't even be dating. You need to get yourself together because it's not about having a big mansion or anything, whatever, but you have to be financially stable. Don't even worry about a woman until you're financially stable. But once you're good and you're in a place where you think you want to date or whatever, as long as you're providing for yourself, cool. But don't fall into the peer pressure of thinking that you got to do more for a chick just because you're trying to impress her or she wants a house. All you can afford is an apartment. Don't fall for that because these women to date men in prison with nothing. So don't fall for that. If a woman likes you, she will be with you. But you just make sure you're set and don't be trying to chase the Joneses and stuff like this. People don't understand that. And a lot of dudes get caught up trying to, flex and do all this stuff that's unnecessary. Just be stable and financially set in and of yourself. You'd be good to go. I think they got it together.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to Nurse Jeree. When I was asking, you were saying loyalty, right? So
Yeah.
what would it take to make you feel secure? Go ahead. Go ahead with that.
It's like I said, it's definitely loyalty. I don't want to be with anybody I constantly have to question. I constantly have to wonder where you are, what you're doing, who you've been with. Like that's not the kind of energy I want to put out into the world. So I don't want, to receive that from you. Like I don't want you not to trust me in that aspect, and I don't want to not have to trust you in that aspect.
So what do you mean though? Like you don't have to worry about like going through his phone, other woman coming to you as a woman. Like what do you mean?
Well, definitely that. Like, I don't want to. I don't.
Oh, okay.
We're not having. I don't. And that's another thing because previously in my relationship that was an issue. Like I would have discussions with the other woman or whatever, but when the whole separation happened, the person he had an affair with me with or on, um, she would basically contact, like I would not talk to her at all. She would basically contact me on every social media site, and I mean, I had to tell her like, there is nothing I have to say to you. Like, there's your conversation needs to be had with him. And like I said, from this day forward, from the last video, I chose myself, so I don't have conversations with exes, or I don't have conversations with the other woman or whoever. We're not doing that. I also don't put myself in the position where I feel like I need to check your phone, because if I feel like I need to check your phone, I don't need to be with you because I don't trust you. Like,
Okay.
trust is the foundation for me.
What about you, Nurse Shay? What would it take you to make you feel secure other than money?
Oh, my big thing has always been communication. Don't put me in a position where I always have to worry. I want you to text me, tell me where you at all times, and that's just been a big issue for me in the past when it comes to men. Is communication that makes me feel secure. Knowing that I can talk to you, hear from you, see you. I don't even care if you're high value, you're a very busy man. At least let me FaceTime you. So that's been a big issue.
So
You
you
know,
want to be so you want to know that you're a priority.
yes, yes.
Okay. Do y'all feel like, cuz I know y'all both say y'all wanted men who were a top guy. Um are you understanding that what you may not get a lot of time in dealing with men like that? Cuz he does have to make sure you're good, the lifestyle is good and all that kind of stuff, because that's just what he does. Like a man like that, he's not going to need your motivation. He's not going to need your help. He wants you because of you, not because of what you can motivate him to do. But do you understand that a lot of time, and that's cool. Like I FaceTime you, babe, I'm working, all that good stuff. But do you realize you're not gonna have a lot of time though? Can you handle those days alone? Days where you might have an itch or something like that, and you may be, feeling hot, and he not there because he's grinding, getting to the bag. Can you handle that?
Yes, I can definitely handle that. That's something that needs to be talked about before we decide to get into a committed relationship. That, hey, this is what I do for a living. There's sometimes that I need to be busy, but that goes back to my wants and needs. Okay, well, this is what I need from you. I need at least some communication, some time, some dates and stuff. Let's plan a time where we can meet each other in a certain state or something like that. So I know I'm busy, but I have a lot of flexibility as a nurse. But I can understand if we communicate and talk before we decide to settle down with each other. Just understand that I have wants and needs. I'm a woman. Yes, I'm emotional and everything like that. But this is how we can definitely help this issue that you have. And I know that I see the potential and where you're trying to get to go. Let's set up a time frame for everything. So yeah.
See, I'm liking this conversation because it's one, is not that many people on here, and two, I think we are doing a great job at peeling back layers, because I think sometimes the audience just thought, I think the majority of the audience thought y'all were gold diggers, and which is fine. I have no problem with gold diggers personally, but now that we're seeing what you really mean and you have a chance to really illustrate your feelings, I think that's a good thing.
Can I?
Ji, oh yeah, go ahead, go ahead. That was the same
I
thing for
just
you
wanted
too.
to
Go
say
ahead.
something because y'all had referenced what's his name, Kevin Samuels or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had never like I think I heard of him now that I like after watching some of his videos. I think I've like heard of him, but it never interested me to look because I didn't care to do that. But
hmm,
after actually listening to him, like, and you guys saying that we're saying exactly what he was referencing verbatim,
yeah,
I just wanted to make it clear I don't subscribe to any of the things that he was talking about. Like even though some of the conversations that we had the other day mirrored some of what he was saying, it was always in a negative connotation. So I just wanted to clarify that I don't subscribe to the fat shaming, the homoerotic undertones, the
you said a homoerotic undertone. What do you mean?
yes. If you watch him,
Have you watched the whole show, or did you watch
I,
highlights?
I watched. I sat there and watched the whole entire thing, and then I sat there and like did bits and pieces of it. But some of the things that I feel like he talked about was very homoerotic to me. Just
Really?
like yes, and I'm gonna give an example that just stood out to me.
Okay.
Is we're not like this is a new time. Okay, women do have value. Okay, women are like part of the household. His perspective from one of the things he was saying is that women should be basically arm candy. You should take them to holiday parties. You should that's what she's there for. She should be submissive right off the bat. Like just things that didn't make any sense to me. And it's almost as if who are you trying to impress? Your homeboys, or are you one with your girlfriend? Like are you one with your girl? Or are you guys like what's the point here? Is what I watched
Well,
it and I just was lost in a bunch of bullshit because it was a bunch of just arrogance. It was toxic masculinity if I ever saw it.
oh boy. Okay. All right. So to your first point, he was talking about, he talks about women who want these type of men, and yes, and a lot of the times a man, that those type of men that you want, those top 5, top 3% of the men that you want, they don't care about your money, they don't care about your job. Your value to them is in your femininity, your youth, and your beauty.
Which is
His research
homoerotic. That's
is,
homoerotic to me
how,
because it wasn't valuing when he spews off this BS. He's not saying he values women. That never escapes his mouth. That is never a highlight of his conversation. What he talks about is how I'm alpha and I'm top dog, I'm elite, which is a bunch of bullshit and it's kind of reminded me of some kind of sociopath. And also to clarify, even though you saying like this, what was the term, high value man, I was using that term because that was the term that was been thrown around.
right?
I've never came out of my mouth I want a millionaire. Never came out of my mouth that I wanted, I said somebody who makes my income and above. I never discussed what my income was.
If
And
you make over, I know as a travel nurse, you're making over 100 grand. If you are making over 100 grand, you are in the top 10. You are in the top
can I
10%
say
of
that?
all earners.
Can I say that I don't very rarely do I make that much money. Okay. I have the ability to make that much money. But my focus is now this year is completely different for me. I'm on my grind this year. This past year was my year of enjoyment. So that means I worked just enough, paid all my bills up, and then took a big chunk of time to just chill the fuck out.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you willing to deal with a man? Because this plays right into it. Are you willing to deal with a man who makes an average salary, $40,000 a year,
Listen,
right now?
I have dealt with a man that
Are
makes it.
you willing to now?
If you listen to what I'm saying, I want to deal with a man who makes my income or above. That is something that even when I watched one of your videos, you stated was normal. You stated that women want. Women don't sit here and want someone who they have to carry. So I don't think I was saying anything that was off color. I don't think I was saying anything that was inappropriate or weird or strange. I think that I was taking a stance as a woman and saying that this is what my household would need to survive. So I don't think
But the
that, I mean,
but the question is though, if we're speaking in generalities, because I haven't asked how much you made, and that's a crucial point to this
if you
conversation, because if you want somebody at your level or above, depending on what you make on general, that's either the average or above average,
so
because that
okay,
matters.
could you tell me what you think is average and above average?
$40,000, that is the
No,
average salary for a
no,
man. forty
no,
thousand dollars. No,
no.
what?
I'm no, I won't deal with anybody that makes 40,000 unless
But that's the average though.
no.
That's the average, and that's fine. You don't have to. So if you want somebody who's making that or above, well, not that, but above, this is what comes with that. Because a man making that kind of money don't they
Not accurate though. That's not accurate.
that's very accurate.
No, it's not accurate though, because the men that have came out of their mouth to ask for money have been people like welders or truck drivers, and it's not because they don't make the money. It's because they have terrible spending habits. It's because they're not leads of households. The men that we, or at least
Well,
I,
those are outliers though, man. Those are outliers.
I'm just telling you, like the men that I have dealt with have been men that I'm like, okay, I can see this going somewhere. This has potential. But at the end of the day, it's almost as if your income is just one check mark off of it.
But it's a but you just said you won't date a man on an average income. So it's a
Yes,
very important part.
yes, it very is. It very much is an important part. Just
So
like
what I'm saying, so what does a man have to make? What does a man have to make in order for you to be secure? What does he have to make?
80,000 and above.
That's the top 15% of all men.
And that's not hard. It's not hard. An average man,
You
like
said that's not hard.
no, because men traditionally make more money than women. They traditionally can do that. And like you said the other day, if a man is not going to be content with just average, I don't want to deal with a man who's content with 40,000.
I agree. No, that part I agree with. We connecting right there.
Okay.
Where we're having a disconnect is
slim pickings. It's slim pickings.
where we're having a disconnect is $80,000 a year is not average. That's nowhere near average. That is the 15% is 15% for a reason.
Okay, but
Then you have the other.
what I said.
Listen, if you have your audience right now, type in the blackdemographics.com. Right now, a man, especially a black man, you have the potential right now to make more than a woman. Me working right now, you can make more than me, especially as a white man. So all these extra excuses that you guys have, the system was in place for you guys, not us. So
We're not, but that's not what we're discussing. We're not discussing potential. We're discussing the tangible right now.
I know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right though. That a man can make more, but a lot don't.
Top 15, you can make that. You can.
But
a lot of dudes don't though. That's the fact of the matter though.
A lot of men.
It's done. We're not.
But that's what I'm saying. But his whole point was you don't want to deal with the man making average. So in order to deal with the man making this and maintaining that, usually this is what he wants you for: your femininity, your beauty, and your youth. He don't care.
That's not been accurate though, because I've dealt with men who make that, and that's not their focus.
And honestly, when I see the few videos of Kevin Cinema, what he's describing to me, honestly, is a white woman. That's all.
White woman.
A white woman. A woman that is skinny, petite, long hair, everything. And usually from black men, blackdemographics.com, that's what you need to look for. I mean, or a man, I don't know, so that's all I get from Kevin Samuels. You want the complete opposite, honestly, of a black woman, because we grew up, majority of us grew up on struggle. White people or non-people of color have not. They've been trained a little bit different from us. So, I mean, that's all.
Most black men who make $100,000 or more are married to black women.
Honestly, black demographics.
That's on black demographics, though.
Black demographic, but listen,
No,
I think believe on there, it's still higher than a black woman who is married, and only was like what 40% that are
but a
actually married.
but a black man making that kind of money don't want you for your money. He don't care how much you make.
I
Rather,
know.
he don't care. That's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't care
We'll just
how
agree.
much you make. It doesn't matter. I don't. If she made 100 grand, I don't matter. That's her money.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm saying. That's irrelevant to a man making that kind.
We'll
A
agree.
man making two
Yeah,
hundred thousand
let's
dollars.
be honest. You're not dating the men, so you don't know. Okay, you're just going
And I,
off what you read.
right,
I'm
but what
telling
I'm
you,
saying
as
is
a
that
woman
do you?
that's out there dating these men, okay, who have ulterior motives, who think, oh, I'm gonna hold on to mine because I don't. You can do it. You got it. But like that mentality, no, I'm not dealing with it. And that
And you
goes
shouldn't.
across the board. That goes across the board. I'm just refuse to struggle. I refuse to go backwards. I refuse to struggle unnecessarily. It's just not.
No,
I'm
and
not
and
gonna do
nobody's saying you should, but the point I'm trying to get home is that a man who's making 150,000 plus a year don't care how much you make. It's not about your money, or he shouldn't.
it.
If he's making $150,000 a year and he worried about your pockets, that's on some other stuff. I ain't never going at her purse. I'm never going at her purse for nothing, because that's not what a real man do. Ji,
You
go ahead. Let me get Ji. I've been talking, but go ahead, Ji. What you think? He's coming.
Have you seen the Batman movie where Bane broke the bat's back and he said
Yes.
peace. He said peace has made you weak. Victory's defeated you. That's what's happened to women these days. You know, freedom freedom has defeated them.
Oh,
Their
freedom.
freedom
So we had to
and
reference.
their ability to earn the way they do, it has skewed the relationship balance. So it is what it is. It's not shocking or surprising. Um, the stuff that they're saying, it makes sense to them. So this is what's going to happen in the future, because just dealing with reality, and not anybody on the panel, but a lot of women, I see a lot of women, especially those that have a lot of standards and do well for themselves individually. It's just going to be a lot of situationships going on. It's going to be a lot of, come through on the late night, what you do in text. That's just going to be what it is, because these things that relationships were not built on what they're built on now. They're trying to build relationships on sand. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the things that people choose these relationships based on now, it has nothing to do with what's historically worked all throughout time. But since we live in this artificial environment, it is what it is. You can't change this. So you got to let people do what they want to do. It's not going to be successful, but let them just be free, and you just got to really move around it and enjoy it. I mean, it is what it is. But I don't think that the disconnect. I don't think that y'all are going to be able to reconcile the understanding of what's going on, because you just fundamentally disagree. So no matter how many times you break it down, CJ, I don't believe that they're going to accept it, because they fundamentally do not see it the way that you do, and that's cool. But you're not going to be able to reconcile one to another, that thought process. But it's
Well,
just going to continue to get worse and worse, and I think it's even worse for high earning women.
the
Go
thing
ahead.
is though, I'm not trying to, right? We still having a discussion, and what they believe, that's fine. But I'm trying to get them to see it, because first of all, if a man is making 150 and he asking you for money, that dude, that's the wrong type of dude. Number one, and I know y'all out here dating the men. Y'all out here. I don't think that man was ever making 150,000 if he's asking you for it, because he ain't got that kind of worry. Number
No, he
one.
just doesn't want to spend it on them.
Mm.
He just doesn't want to spend. It's dudes that have it. And listen, I talked to it's dudes that have money. They're like, look, she gonna have to pay for her half. Some dudes are just really stomped down like that. They like, look, she not gonna get nothing up out of me. I'm not coming up off of nothing, because some dudes they know that. You don't have to. If a chick's really feeling you, you don't have to. And some dudes are real frugal like that, and they like, nah, you're not gonna use me at all. You got to pay your own way. 50-50. She gonna pay her half. She ain't just gonna be saving up her money. It's some dudes like that. The only solution would be to not deal with guys that think like that. But if they want guys that think like that, then they're stuck in their own little conundrum,
No, we don't want
and they're
guys.
not willing to compromise on other things.
What's up, King Gene?
How you all doing?
What's
Good.
going on, man? I didn't think you was gonna make it today. What's the Befuddled Part 2? What's up?
What's going on, man?
I'm here for it. JR, how you doing? The beautiful sisters, how y'all getting along tonight?
Hey, man, I can't call it, man.
How are you?
Good.
Oh.
Go ahead,
So
King Gene.
where we at, CJ?
Spit some ism real quick, King Gene. Go ahead, say what you got to say. I'm listening, and I'm listening. I'm right here. Just go. I gotta cut the camera off for a second, but go ahead, spit that ism. Oh, my bad. Hold on. You almost saw something incriminating. Hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
Don't incriminate yourself, brother. Don't do it.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so now I was listening to the first part, you all. I had a couple of things I had to do, but I just wanted to ask a question. Jaree, Nurse Shay,
Yes, sir.
did the relationships that y'all had in the past, the men that y'all dealt with, the things that they did in y'all relationships, do you think that they're having an impact on the way that you look at men now?
Yes. I feel like it should. I feel like that is part of it's like an example that when I was talking to her, it's like if you keep banging your head over and over again, or burning yourself over again, or hurting yourself over and over again, eventually you have to learn to maneuver around that mistake. And if you don't, you have a problem. Like, that's a problem. To not grow from your pain, to not learn how to navigate around your mistakes, that's a problem. And I think you should. I think people should know how to navigate around their issues.
And I agree. It's called healing from traumas that you may have. But now this is the thing that when I hear some of the things that are said, just speaking honestly, when you have a situation that has hit you and caused difficulty for you in your life, have you gone back and analyzed the situation to see if you're perhaps repeating, if you're choosing the same guy, but he's in a different body? He's about the same thing. He had the same goals. He had the same mannerisms.
I'm going to be honest. I feel like I choose different men, but I also wanted to say, because yesterday when we were talking, I did say I'm choosing to be single until I figure out what's with me. Like, I'm at peace with myself. So I'm choosing to be single until I feel like I have the emotional growth and the mental growth enough to decipher who is good enough to be in my life, or who is worthy to be in my life. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, just because we're on like a show or whatever, or podcast, whatever, and we're talking about dating does not mean that I'm out there looking for a man.
Well, I mean, one of the things that one of my favorite YouTubers says, the Blooming Ebony, she was on last night. She always encourages growth. And so what you're doing is exactly that. It's growth. But now here's the thing. When does that growth begin to produce fruit? You're growing. At what point do you think you'll be able to look out into the world and say, this is the kind of man that I want. This is the direction I want him to be going in. This is the way I want him to treat me. Have you established that?
I mean, I know how I want to be treated.
Okay.
As far as the type of man that I want, like I said, I'm not looking for anything. I know there are things that I want. I know there are things that if it checks off, it checks off. But I also feel like when the right person is there, I won't have to tell him how to love me. I won't have to tell him how to treat me, because he will know He will know that I have value. He will know who I am. He will know where we're going so he can lead. So I mean, honestly, I'm not looking for a man to be in my life right now. I'm looking for me to heal and be where I need to be and get myself right.
Do you want love?
I mean, I feel like essentially everybody wants love, but as far as what that looks like, I don't know. I feel like if I sit here and try to put things in, put things in like in their physical form, and I try to um, name it or whatever, I feel like because I'm still working on me, it wouldn't even be, you know, it wouldn't even work out. It wouldn't work for me.
Nurse Shay Shay, are you scared to give your heart to a man right now?
Mm-mm. No. Like
No.
just like what she said, he's gonna come correct. He's gonna know what I want. He's not gonna give me no bullshit. He's not gonna
But
sit
he's
out
not gonna know what you want. He's not a mind reader.
there.
And
But
I get what you say. That's where the communication come in. You know what I'm saying? That's where the communication, like you were saying, come in. But I think a lot of women go into situations thinking that he's just supposed to know. Like he's not. He's not a. He's especially the kind of man you want. Yeah, both of y'all want.
But
He's
you know,
not just gonna know.
You're gonna have to teach each other.
You're
but
right.
I mean, I feel like that goes without saying. Like I feel like
I'm
when
still here, y'all. Go ahead.
I feel like when you enter a relationship with somebody, things should be discussed. Um, like just straight off the bat, like things should be discussed. But when I say like he should know, I'm not here to teach a man how to be a man. I'm not here to teach a man don't ask me for money. I'm not here to teach a man, oh, remember birthdays and buy me flowers. Like I feel like that shit men should fucking know. Like I shouldn't have to tell you that. I shouldn't have to remind you to remember me. So I
Okay,
mean, that's what I mean.
Jay, let me say something. I understand where you're coming from on that. And to a certain degree, I can even agree with what you're saying. But now what I'm saying is that in a relationship, right? Two people together,
Mm-hmm.
there's absolutely no way that you're going to know everything that's on the mind of your partner.
Of course not.
Okay. So,
I communicate with the person I'm with. That's why there's so much disappointment when and it doesn't end up working out because no one has. I mean, no one on this panel has dated me, so no one can know what I'm like and how I'm like within
right,
a relationship.
right.
But all the things that I know about me, all the things that I know that I'm capable of, all the things that I know that I give when I'm in a relationship with somebody. It sounds crazy, but you know how they say you love hard. I love hard, and I'm not ready to put myself in a position to give somebody that love who's not ready to receive it. That's all.
I
That's real
understand.
talk. That's real
Mhm.
talk. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't. I'm still here, y'all. Just keep going. Go, keep going. Hold it
But no,
down.
like I was saying, Japree's in the house. What's going on,
respond
Japree?
back to somebody what they said in the comments. Abuki Cabal. They grew up broke and now they don't want to see or deal with anything that reminds them of a living an average life. So we know where the medium wealth of Black households will be by 2053, right? Why would I want to stay stagnant? We have no time to waste right now. And that goes back to our previous podcast. A woman's mindset is not going to put love first. Our survival skills, again, are going to kick in. So, this right, yeah, hell yeah. I don't want to think of my past anymore and what I went through and the struggles. So, yes.
No,
I'm sorry,
but
Fran.
don't you think that's a little counterintuitive what you just said, Shay
No,
Shay?
but can I say something though?
Oh,
I
go ahead.
I didn't grow up broke or poor. Like I would be that would be a disservice to my mom and a disservice to my stepdad to say that I just grew up broke and I didn't have anything. My mom worked her ass
Yeah,
off. Like she
it was
had
definitely
so many
middle class.
jobs.
I grew up in the
Yeah.
suburbs.
So
Yeah.
that's an assumption that I think is not very smart. But okay.
Okay. But now, like I said, don't you think that's a little counterintuitive, the approach that you all are taking? So the way that you all just described how you grew up, both parents in the home, a stable family, nuclear family, right? Look at how it turned out. Look at all the things that you all have accomplished. Look at what you have become. Don't you think that that would be the correct way to structure your life so that there would be individuals produced from those nuclear families that you all started that would
You
end
living
up
in the
just like
past,
you?
Gene. You living in the past.
I'm just
You living in the
asking.
past, man.
I'm
Y'all
just
gotta let that
because
go.
because
Listen,
because here's the
I
thing.
listen.
question
I never said that. I grew up with my mother. My father was definitely present, but majority
Okay.
of the time I was with my mother. So it wasn't two parents in the household. But like I said, I grew up in the suburbs, middle class life. But yes, there were times of struggle. But yes, now that I see that and see families in the household, that's what I would like in the
Right.
future for myself.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's all I'm.
Mhm.
Ji, you're not gonna get me off that, man. I'm gonna tell you why. 1965, and I'm going to deep dive into this for everybody's benefit. That's going to be the next couple of videos I do on my podcast, the Monahan report. And in that report, it talks about uh, where the black community began to run into difficulties. And the main difficulty that we have, even to this day, is the structure of the black family. I'm for that. I know you know no cohabitation, no marriage. You ain't with that, but I am, and I push for it because you cannot have a strong community if you don't have strong families, and you can't have strong families if you're not willing to look across the table at someone that could potentially be your significant other and put those things together so that they can work. That's just my thoughts on it, man. Unless you just want us to cease to exist
You
as
you you right
human
about
beings.
that. That's true.
Well, Jr., you did say that if she came over
That
and
you
busted
right about
open,
that. That's true. I just
you
think that it's
she did say you did say if she came over and busted open, it could potentially be wifey, right,
yeah.
Jr.?
I don't exclude her for that from that.
Right, right.
But yeah,
So
yeah.
it's still a
I don't
potential.
exclude her for that. But what Gene is saying is true. What brother Gene is saying is true. But I'm telling y'all, I do not believe that we're going to go back to those times because you can't put this genie back in the bottle. Women do not pick relationships based off of character and wanting to good relationships or whatever. It's these superficial things that, from a numerical standpoint, are not even achievable. So once you
Not
put it
all.
all
Not
together,
not
you just
all
have to
though.
understand we're not going back there.
Not all.
Nothing is all, but
Right.
you see in our community the dysfunction that runs rampant. And brother Jim, we already talked about how they live in a time where they don't have to come under the headship of a man. So you can't have order without there being order. But they don't have to submit to order, brother Gene. That's the part that y'all are missing.
I
You can't
feel
talk
like
them into
I'm
All right.
wanting to
All right.
do the right thing.
Let me get Japrice up in here
It
real
is
quick.
what it is.
Let me get Japrice. What's up, Japrice?
Hi, CJ. Hi, everyone.
What's
Good
going on?
evening.
Is it priest?
Hi.
So what do you think? What do you think about the
I
discussion so far?
oh, I don't really know.
We can't. You went mute. You muted yourself.
Okay, my AirPods are like dead. Oh man. Um, but can you guys all hear me well
Yeah, I
without?
can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I just came in the middle of King Gene speaking, so I wasn't for sure exactly what the question was, but I'm
Well,
just
I was
listening.
seasoning some chicken. So what was you saying, King Gene?
No, what we were talking about, me and Jeree and Nurse Shay, we were just having a conversation about nuclear families, how it is that the way that they were raised, it was instrumental in them becoming the powerful women that they are now. And so it was just my thought that if the way that you were raised produced this caliber of a person, wouldn't you want to replicate that and say, okay, this worked then? Is it a possibility that it could work going forward into the future? And if it is, if we, cause see, that's my whole thing. We as this generation, we have not mastered the concept of marriage. We haven't mastered it. We haven't. And because we haven't mastered the concept of marriage, how are we making changes to it? How are we moving and shifting things around?
No,
How are we doing that?
no. Marriage was mastered since the beginning of time. It was undermined when the rules changed and the environment and the rules that govern it changed. You can't have the same thing without the same rules and same structure in place. It doesn't work like that. That's like trying to build a house, but I'm gonna remove the foundation and you still gonna try to build this out. It's going to fall. That's what people aren't accepting. You're talking about marriage as if the same things that governed it before exist now. It wasn't WAP and Cardi B before. It wasn't promiscuity before. It wasn't acceptable to be this way before. It women couldn't work before. You can't look at it at just as marriage in and of itself. Marriage exists within the context of a time and a place, and we are just beyond that. And you
I
see, with
can't.
this free choice and in this environment, they don't choose it. They do not choose it. You just have to accept that. If they chose it, they would be married, but they're
All
not
right,
married because they
hold
do
on one
not
second.
choose
Hold
to
on one
be.
second.
This is what it
Let me
is.
let me get to Japrise, and I'm gonna go to the two ladies, the two nurses. Go ahead, Japrise.
What question? Am I supposed to be answering a question?
Well, just respond to what you've heard so far. As far as like, well, the one thing, let me ask you this, because I think, I don't remember if it was, I think it was Nurse Jeree. She said she's not willing to give her heart to a man that's not willing to receive it yet. Do you think it's a large number of women that are truly, truly scared because of the whole, once he get on, he Leo ask for a white girl, or soon as he's on the come up, he's gonna leave you? Do you think a lot of women truly fear that? Or is that a scapegoat? And I'm not saying that's not real for you, Nurse Jeree, but I'm talking in general at this point. What do you think?
I think yes, the women of this generation, they're like fearful. They don't want to like risk it because they feel as though maybe they don't have time. They don't have the time to risk. But I do feel as though there's like some fear there. Maybe because of what they saw in their households, or maybe someone that they saw. It's I think it's yeah, okay. So yeah, I think it is fear, but I think that life is about risk, about trade-offs. It's a risk going to work. It's a risk getting a job. So I understand possibly why. Like, I'm so sorry. Straight hair. Well, you guys both have straight hair today. Which she said the survivor skills kicks in, which I do understand that because of today's society, like the dynamic. We really don't need. They really can survive without a man nowadays, and they just feel as though maybe it's risky.
Yeah, but if
And
he wants to lead and stuff, a man, you can let him lead, and he can lead you right to the ground. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not gonna put my guard down for a man that can't lead me. So
And honestly,
yeah.
I feel like
How do you know a man can
how?
lead you well?
Yeah, that was
I was
my
gonna
question.
ask y'all that. How do you know?
Yeah, you have to know how to properly vet a guy the first time you meet him. You have to be able to ask questions the first time so that your time isn't wasted, and so that you should be able to tell. I want to ask you guys also, do you guys have your fathers in your life? Like, did you guys grow up with your fathers?
I did.
And
I
are
had a
you guys
stepdad, I had a stepdad and a father.
so you currently still have them in your life?
No, I honestly, me personally, I don't. My mom is who I communicate with on a daily basis. As far as my stepdad, it was kind of like like he was there. He was a very positive um, role model in my life. But when they separated and me moving around a lot, that's just how it went.
Did that hurt you when he was, that positive influence was removed from your life?
Um, I don't think it did because I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I do, I read psychology or whatever, and I know like the Freudism and all that, the daddy, issues. But I'm gonna be honest. I feel like as an adult, I can only blame my parents so much for the things that have happened in my life. Like at a point, you just gotta grow the fuck up, and it's
Accountability.
no longer my
Move
dad. It's no
on.
longer my
Want
mom,
better.
and
Yeah.
I have to be aware of what I'm doing and the decisions that I'm making because at the end of the day, like my mom can give me all the advice in the world, but I'm gonna do me.
Mm. uh, Nurse Shay Shay, what is how do you know if a man is leading you well? What are the qualities that you look for in leadership? How do you know that?
Holding
'Cause I've
this,
heard that a lot.
I mean, just holding this house down, you know? So, I mean, like we said, going back to the high value, upper class life, to lead me, one of the many things is making sure that you can pay all the bills. I mean, I can do that. Yes, I can. I can do it myself. I can survive myself. But that's one of the many qualities that I'm looking for. Can you at least build a household, build a house? Can you build a couch, a bed, something, you know? But yeah,
Hmm. So you are willing to submit. Do you have a problem with submission?
I don't have a problem with submission. I would love to submit, but like I said, there's a lot of feminine men around here, you know, or they're not meeting my certain wants.
Hmm.
Like I said, we know money is one of the many things, but then I said we got to start checking off other things, my needs, my emotional needs here. So yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna kind of side with you on that because I do think there is an agenda right now to feminize men. I saw a post on Facebook today that I actually shared where there was a picture of a boy holding a baby doll, and that is what they're currently advertising. And I said, yeah, not my son. Um, so I have to kind of side with you on that point. But Japrice, let me ask you, as a woman, do you feel like a lot of men are feminine, or the general population of men have become feminine? Then I'm gonna ask you that too, King Gene. I didn't get a chance to ask you that.
Yes. So the reason being for that is because the majority of our I'm speaking about the sorry, I have my retainers in this. Specifically, the Black community. Majority of our children are raised in single mother households.
Baby.
So, um, we always like us when we have to always look back at us. Like the reason why maybe it's you guys believe, oh, a lot of people are believing that is because of us, the women. We're not being intentional. We're not, we're just having babies without being married and stuff like that, and they're being raised in a single mother household. So that is a lot of what's going on. As we look at the LGBT community, like as far as the men, majority of those guys come from single mother households, and with that being said, the mother can't watch them all the time, so they go to daycare. Somebody's watching them, and they're being sexually molested, which is a high percentage of why they are homosexual. So there's a lot of
Well,
feminine,
if this
a lot
channel
of
gets taken down,
a
I
lot of
appreciate y'all who've been here rocking with me. But go ahead.
really wait. So the word you can't even say the word homosexual.
Can I
This is
say
like an actual
something?
Right,
term.
right. Go ahead, Jerry.
I feel like I mean my relationship with my son's father is different. So I mean I will never take away the fact that he's a good father. Um and we try to co-parent as much as possible. That being said, I feel like a lot of men and women cop out when they immediately just say, "Oh, I don't get to see my son. I don't get to do this. I don't like or he not doing nothing. He's not like I really feel like if men and women, specifically black men and women, because I'm gonna be honest, that's mostly who I care about, specifically black men and women. I feel like when they are able to move past the whole blaming each other, because if you want to be in your child's life, unless it is absolutely impossible, it's possible to be a good parent and to try to co-parent and to sacrifice that. I ain't gonna argue with this bitch today, or you know what I mean? Like I've been in the situation because at first it was very rocky for us to co-parent. But I am so grateful for the opportunity to be able to say I can travel as a nurse. My son primarily stays with his dad. Homework gets done.
Good, good.
Yeah,
I've
homework
heard that
gets
that is
done.
a good thing.
He is reading, like he's confident. He's in football. His dad coaches his team. I will never
Good.
take that out.
Do you think that he's that way because so his father has custody? Well, you have has custody, huh? He
We
lives with his
don't have a
father.
custody arrangement,
Oh,
but
okay.
physically he's mostly with his dad. I can.
I,
I mean, if
I
he
I'm
was
such a big
to
advocate of the children going with the dad. It's been proven that fathers do. do better, as even as single fathers and single mothers, because us women, we can't handle that stress, and it's stressful, um raising a child even with the father here. So I can only imagine how it is, like, raising a child in a single mother home. But I'm how do I say it? Kudos to you for, allowing, because a lot of mothers will not do that. A lot of mothers will not do that. So um is that okay to say, like, kudos to you? Or, but I'm happy that you are not that kind of woman that will withhold their child from their father. That is so amazing. You're like
Yeah, that's a good
the
look.
yeah,
That's a
Let me
good look.
chime in
yeah.
on this point.
Wait, hold on. I got to get to King Gene because I want to ask him about the femininity aspect and the feminization of men. Do you think that is a thing going on, King Gene?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think so. I think so. Um, I'm respectful of whatever a person chooses to wear. I am, but I draw the line at a man putting a dress on. Why would you do that? Especially if you're an individual who is in the spotlight. Now, I don't agree with it. Anybody else can, but that's a clear indication that that's the way things are going. Masculinity, and I say this a whole lot on my channel. Masculinity is being painted to be something that's always detrimental. Anytime there's a strong man who has leadership qualities, who's trying to steer things in the correct direction, that man is always labeled as being someone who's difficult to deal with. That's where we are in society. If you look at it, a lot of the men who, like, let's say for instance, like Kevin Samuels, a lot of people don't agree with his message, but you have to admit that the man is courageous, and you have to admit that he's willing to stand out front and say, okay, I think this would be the best way for us to go. Even though you might not agree with his talking points, you have to give him that. And anytime a man takes that approach, they're vilified. Now, let me get back to the subject because, like I said, I don't want to deflect now. Okay? All right. So, Jeree, let me say something to you. I think that's absolutely wonderful. Okay? I really do. Because here's the thing, uh, a mother raising a son, she can sustain him. She can make sure he eats, he has clothing. Those things are for survival. But she cannot teach him the posture of a man. She can't do it,
I agree.
no matter how hard she tries. So it's a good thing that you're exposing your son to the man in his life who is his biological father, because he's going to be able to absorb the things that he needs to be a man from his father. There are things that I'm look, and I don't want to go too deep into it, but I get comments, I get direct messages every day from young men because they have no direction because their father was not there to help them stand in their manhood. So the very fact that you're allowing, and I won't say allowing, I'll say encouraging, because that's what you're doing. You're encouraging your son to have that relationship with his father. That man's going to appreciate that when he grows up. But now, as far as the demographic for single mothers, you don't fall into that anyway, because the 80% that Japrice was talking about is also the poorest demographic in the United States. Single parent mothers, one mother in the household raising children, that is the poorest demographic in the United States. So the combination of you and your husband and your ex-husband to raise your son, I think that's a wonderful thing. But we're trying to feminize men now. You're not supposed to be strong. You're not supposed to be forthright. You're not supposed to be an individual who displays your leadership qualities, because when the moment that you do, now you're misogynistic. You hate women. I've been told that several times. I hate women. I'm misogynistic. So yeah, they're trying to feminize men.
Um, Go ahead, Jay. What was you about to say?
Okay.
Yeah.
The point that she made when she said you can overlook little fights or whatever, we got to deal with the reality of the situation. Number one, in this space, I'm known as Mr. Financial Abortion. To me, you don't even have a family if you weren't married to a man and had the child. I don't even count it as a family. It's not a family. All right. And back in the day, The woman just would have been left. The kid was called a bastard, and it was understood that anything outside of marriage didn't even count. So that's another thing that shifted from the moral compass of today. So if you weren't with a man did not make you his wife, whatever, I don't even count that as it's not a family. It's really an abomination. That's just what it is. But we're lawless today, but this is why it doesn't work. When you look at our community specifically, this near 80% out of wedlock birth rate. It's not anything new. Why do these women continue to do it when in America, a woman has 100% control over whether or not a child is born? A man can't force a woman to have a child. A man could be in love with that woman, want that child. He can't make her have it. He can't. But a woman has that. That's because these laws have done this on purpose. All this is by design. And once you have these things like this, you have women who will have a child. Oftentimes, they're not even together when the child is born. Our community is not going to be steered away from the cliff. It's not. Because we have these things in place for foolishness to continue, and the government backs it. Okay, so these women will continue to have children not within a family, just having them, and then they will hope that they can shame a man into caring when really she was just, well, the Bible called them whores, but really that's just all it was. But we live in a day and age that will try to tell you it's something different, but it's the same as it's ever been, as it's always been. And that's why we don't have any type of order in our community specifically, because they choose destruction. It's the same thing, the main thing. Freedom has destroyed them because they're allowed to choose destruction. They do it again and again, even when they come from it, even when they see their parents get it. And this is the one thing that I'm super hard on women on, because women have 100% control in this country. 100% control. 100%. And a man can't do anything about it. So
Let me
that's
ask the
100% I lay it at their feet because of the law.
let me ask the ladies. Growing up, I don't like with y'all female friends or maybe like your aunts, your or whatever, the females that you dealt with in your life. Did you see them make good choices when it came to selecting men?
Oh, so
Our aunties? Oh, you,
family or friends, and it doesn't matter.
yeah, that's why I asked
It
you.
don't matter. Just the women that you might have grown up with, you're close to in your life, or whoever may have had some sort of influence on you as a younger person.
Honestly, I feel like I have both positive and negative examples of relationships and dealings with men, both on the male and the female side. But that being said, I feel like that is completely different than what I would deal with, just because it's a different time, it's different opportunities. I feel like it's also different for me because I have different expectations. Just because my grandparents were together for 30 some years and they seem happy or whatever. At the end of the day, like I said, it's a different time and a different generation and a different expectations. So even given those examples, both negative and positive, I don't try to model myself off their relationships, because I feel like there's a lot that comes into play that they don't have to deal with that I do.
Like what?
Like me, like the example of previous relationships where my grandparents were together. My grandmother didn't make as much as me, so she didn't have to deal with the negative backlash on making more than whatever man you choose to be with. On the other end, with my dad, like he was with somebody else, and she had a lot of problems with um, keeping her kids, well, their kids, I guess, because he had kids after that. And then as far as my biological father, he was just a terrible example of dating women. And I feel like, if nothing else, the negative affected me more than the positive, just because when seeing those negative examples of relationships made me know what I did not want, made me know what I was not looking for. And I feel like even though my marriage did not succeed in that aspect, of lasting forever, I also feel like that was what gave me the opportunity to love somebody. Because before that, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And that happened kind of later in my life where I saw negative examples of relationships. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be open. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to love my man. I'm going to ride for my man. I'm going to support him. I'm going to motivate him. That being said, you putting forth your best foot forward does not mean, you can't control a man. You can't make a man do anything. If the man is not ready, he is not ready.
What about you, Nurse Shay? Did you see positive, negative examples of, well, more so negative? Did you see a lot of negative examples of women choosing bad partners as you were growing up?
So if I use the example of family, growing up, I thought I did, but also I was a child. I didn't have a seat at the grown up table until I got older. And you actually start learning about your family's actual secrets and what your grandpa used to do. They weren't positive relationships whatsoever. So I mean, I can all say all but one that were pretty positive, but in friends as well, I would say absolutely not. I mean, you see what these women have went through and what the men have done. It definitely wasn't positive. But you have a lot of women who kind of sweep that under the table because it's a man, So, mm-mm.
Do you think that affected you and how you make your choices in dating men today?
Absolutely not. Um, like I said, I learned from each relationship. I take accountability and I just apply it the next time and do better. So.
Okay. What about you, Japrice?
So
Hey, brother.
yeah, most of my family is married. My aunts, my mom, my cousins, most of them are married. So I've seen marriage growing up. I didn't really have any negative um, influence around me. Like Nurse Shay said, when I was a child, I was a child. As I got older, I started, hearing maybe one or two situations that will happen, but I was always taught that no relationship is perfect. No relationship is a fairy tale. Um, I also so I hear a lot of women say that they saw dysfunctional relationships and they use that to tell themselves this is what I don't want. But we have to realize that if we've never seen anything functional, how do we know what's functional versus what's dysfunctional? So if we only been around and seen dysfunctional relationships, we won't even know what it is to how we know what a functional relationship is. And I feel as though we take negative relationships and negative things in our family that we saw and we keep that, and that's not your burden to carry. It's not something that you should be worried about, um because nobody's perfect. I always my family and my mom and my dad always taught me that nobody's perfect. Every relationship goes through something. Men aren't perfect, women aren't perfect. I There's no perfect relationship. Every relationship has its issues. That's just the only thing that I could say.
Can
But yeah, no,
can I ask you a question?
of course.
Okay, since I mean, it just sounds like you haven't had much like negative. What am I trying to say? Like examples of relationships. Like yes, bad things have happened, whatever, but they work through it or they're still together. How do you suggest that someone who has seen those negative things navigate through that? Because there's no instruction, there's no manual. Nobody sits there and tells you exactly, what you need to do, how you need to navigate to that. So how would you suggest that someone do that?
So I would first
That's
start
a
off by
great question. That's a great
so
question.
so I would first start off by going to therapy. Therapy is so great. I've had therapy before. My life wasn't perfect. I've had some situations growing up when I was a child. Therapy, and if so, possibly a life coach or a I don't know what you call like a relationship coach. If marriage is the path that you want to go, but therapy for one. And if you're not spiritual, if you are, have God guide you. But therapy is, I believe, is number one. It's I believe God made doctors, and the therapist is a doctor. You get cut, you'll go to the hospital, but if our mental is cut, we don't think that it needs to be fixed. And somebody to talk to, and someone to actually tell you where this is coming from is like the most amazing thing. Like when I was in therapy when I was 21, I'm 28 now. I went to therapy when I first joined the army. The good thing about the army is they gave me therapy for free. But therapy outside of that, I think it's like $100, $100 to $150 per session. That is a little pricey, but I believe it's very it's worth it. But I
I
remember I used to.
want to say that I am in therapy. There's someone in the comments saying that I need a therapist, but I'm actually in therapy. I actually have a therapist. So
That's
That's
great.
what's
That's
up.
great.
That's
Well,
great.
I
job.
remember
Good job.
I used to couldn't wait to actually go to my therapist, and once I was done with it, I felt like, oh, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's just I believe that that's a start. And there's different type of different type of therapists too. I tried one therapist. He was an Asian man. It didn't really work. I mean, not an Asian man, an Asian woman. And I tried going to a man, and he really helped me a lot. But yeah, that's just where I say to start.
Hmm.
And don't live in fear. Like everything is a risk. Like everything is a risk. Literally, going to sleep is a risk. Like everything's a risk. So I just feel as though.
also, I mean, I wanted to say that because I know you have said it sounds like you're afraid. It sounds like, I mean, I feel
Is
like
that your who's that? Who is that?
I think
I hear like some static.
that's Ji. Ji,
Oh,
you got a little bit of static going on. Wait, now it's not. Okay, go ahead.
okay. I also wanted to say that because the other day you were like, it sounds like you're afraid. It sounds like, I mean, I feel like everybody is afraid of something, and I feel like if you're not afraid of something, you're pretending you're not afraid of something.
mhm,
It's even like there was a comment that was made. Um, did you know that most women, when they're 40, they're alone and they're depressed and they're unhappy? It's like I don't thrive on the fear. I'm not going to get married because I'm afraid to be alone because that's also operating in fear. So I mean, I think there's different
mhm,
forms of fear. I think that people okay things in their head because it sounds okay, but like I feel like it's up to the individual person to navigate through their life. They know, I mean, like when I wake up with my demons. You know, when I go to sleep, I go to sleep with my demons, and I'm the only one who can wrestle with them. So the things that might not work for you, the fears that you have to navigate with, probably, or definitely aren't the same things that I fear or that I have to navigate
mhm,
through.
mhm. I just think it's, of course, you have those thoughts in your head, but fear shouldn't guide you, and it shouldn't make you put up this wall to where you are fearful of making this decision because of
Also,
the outcome of
that's
it.
an attraction.
And I said that because of what both of your comments were,
Mm-hmm.
as far as saying that if you don't get what you want, you're going to be single. And I was
So
saying
like
that
that's just boundaries. That's a
that's a
boundary.
choice.
I don't. Yeah, that's my choice. If
Hmm.
I wanted to,
Yeah.
I could wrestle all day with men. I could, date all, but I feel like and I mentioned this to her because I felt like yesterday it was more directed toward us and we were more being like attacked for our beliefs. And I feel like it needs to be said that it is okay to want to be alone and to until someone comes along and shows you, or even if you don't want to be with somebody, that is also okay. Because I feel like some people will never get to that point where they're ready to jump in. Some
Hmm.
people will never get to that point where they're completely healed. And that's okay. We cannot, demonize somebody's beliefs because of the experiences that they've been through. So I mean, I just wanted that to be said because I even in the
Hmm.
comments, I was reading a lot of comments like,
No, I understand that. It's just that what we were trying to say is, yes, everybody has free will, everybody has free choice. That's the good thing about the great USA. And what we were trying to say is the choices that you make and the outcome. you have to be able to accept the outcome and not blame anybody else, not saying not you or Shay, not blame anybody else for that outcome, not saying, okay, I'm single until I'm this old because I couldn't, because there's no good men out there. That isn't accountability. That's not saying that I chose to be this way. That's saying, that's pushing the blame on men, where I'm quite sure it's great men that come, you guys is both, because you guys are both beautiful, and but just that you guys probably don't like the guy. So that's what we're just seeing, like the outcomes. Everybody has free choice. That's what your choice. That's great with you guys, but it's the
And
outcomes and the choices that you guys make.
I also feel like shouldn't have to be with nobody you don't like.
What?
No,
Say
of
it one
course.
more time.
You shouldn't have to be with anybody you don't like.
What do you
Oh
guys
yeah,
think
that's true. That's true.
what do you guys think the purpose of marriage is?
Do I still
I,
have any static?
if you had asked
No,
me,
you don't.
if
You're
you had
static.
Good,
asked
bro.
me 3-4 years ago, I would have gave you a different answer. But I don't believe in marriage anymore.
Okay,
What
so
Hey,
what
CJ,
the
can
what's
you
the
ask me the
definition of
legalities?
abortion
marriage?
question?
A message.
Well, hold on.
I'm
Let
sorry.
me. Do you not believe in the legalities of marriage or the union of it? The whole
I don't.
union of it.
I don't believe that documentation is marriage. I believe loyalty is marriage. I believe that being a team is marriage and building together is marriage. I believe that having a vision together is marriage. I believe that guiding each other and building each other and motivating each other, that's marriage to me. I don't, the whole piece of paper, all that, that's not, that's something that shows that this person belongs to me legally, and that person, I belong to this person legally. That's all that means to me. Then that comes with
So
the experience of being married.
So marriage, the marriage license and the marriage certificate is just proof of what happened. Marriage is legacy. Marriage is heritage. Marriage is two bonding of families, blood. It's about inheritance. If I didn't say that, legacy, generational wealth. Most people in other cultures, and let me just say maybe the white culture too. They don't really marry for the things that we think that marriage is about. It's not about love. It's not about loyalty. I could already say loyalty, but it's not about any of the things that we think it is. It's to have children, and all the things that I listed. So I get what you're saying, like, you shouldn't be with somebody you don't like, of course. When you understand the reason for marriage and the role and the purpose of a woman and a man, then you would like they say that, like, in my husband's culture, he's African, he's from Ghana. Love comes later. Love comes later, especially for the woman. Because you can learn to love, and love is an emotion. I can love him today and I can love him tomorrow, but we both in mind have our mindset on legacy, generational wealth, and raising our children to be proper citizens in society. So that's what marriage exactly is. But
Can
I
Let
I ask
me
do
y'all a
let me
question?
totally agree with loyalty.
Can
let
I?
me let me give the fellas in they take on there. Go ahead, King Gene, and we're gonna go to JI. And I've been really liking the ladies' dialogue back and forth. I've been digging that. It's been a good dialogue. Go ahead, King Gene. What was you about to say?
It's not a lot of time that I do this, but that that uh it change right there that the ladies just had. It verifies something in my mind that Ji said. In the description of marriage, don't y'all find it odd that nobody mentioned that the central figure in it, if you're a Christian now, should be God? Nobody mentioned that. I think that's the reason why things have changed the way that they have. Cause now, okay, let me just and then I'm gonna get off my soapbox, okay, jury. I see you got a response you want to make. Just give me a second, okay? So the whole the whole concept of marriage is not an institution that man made. If you're a Christian, you understand that that's something that was given to you by your creator. He instituted it. That's the reason why I can't go away from that. I can't say that this is not going to work. I can't give in, because if he created this institution, that means that it's going to be enduring like everything else that he created, right? So if the scriptures say that a threefold cord cannot quickly be torn in two, you have three cords. You have the husband, the wife, the middle cord is God, and the husband and the wife wrap themselves around that central cord. So if there's anything that's happening, like some of the things that you mentioned, Jeree. If there's things that are going on, if you are attached to that central cord, then that means there's not going to be any adultery. There's not going to be any infidelity, because it's not only about your wife, it's also about how you look in front of God. Now, I don't want to make this a preaching session, but I'm just saying, if the whole institution of marriage was brought about by the Creator, then shouldn't we go with how He designed it? Wouldn't that make it better for everyone? Because He knows how things should go as far as relationships between the things that He created. I'm just saying, it was odd to me that I noticed that you were right on. Just read everything we're gonna be one, we're gonna work as a team, right? There's gonna be loyalty there, fidelity, all those things. You were right on, you were spot on. But I just didn't hear God come into play. Because think about it. If that man has to answer to someone higher than himself, then he's gonna watch everything that he does, because he has someone he has to answer to. That's the way I live my life. So I was just
I
asking.
just think, King Gene, I just believe that not everyone is like a soul heart Christian. That's the reason why I didn't bring it up.
That's what I was about to say.
I'm a Christian woman, but I've been told so many times in which I'm even afraid to, I shouldn't be afraid to speak about God in anyone's presence. But when I speak about it, people say, well, I'm not a Christian, or I don't really live my life, you know, structurally like a Christian. So that's why I didn't bring it up, and I'm not for sure what anyone's religious beliefs are. But we also, that's something that, that we have to take into account. Everyone can say they're a Christian, but they aren't Christians. They believe in God, but it's not really like a Christian background, Christian view. So
Yeah, and I'm not Christian, just so we're clear.
Okay. But
Yeah,
no,
and I definitely, and I'm not gonna lie, I agree with what Nurse Jeree actually said. In my opinion, you don't need a piece of paper from that standpoint on the because it's the proof that it was done. You don't need it in order to have a positive marriage, relationship, whatever you want to call it, because I do understand marriage is something that is ordained by God according to the Christian belief. But as far as the paper aspect is concerned, I agree with her because you don't need that. There have been successful relationships that have taken place for many, many years without ever it being any kind of marriage certificate or anything like that
what
involved.
about the things? What about the things that I listed? You would need that. When you drive a car, in order for you to drive here, you need a driver's license. That's paper. In order for
Agreed.
you to
Yeah.
get insurance, is paper. Your house deed, that's paper too. I just feel like the people like kind of devalue marriage
Can I say that?
because they believe it's just a paper.
I
Well,
feel like
I gotta let go to Ji. Ji been real quiet
sorry.
over there. Ji, can y'all say something? Go ahead, Ji.
All right, so working my way backwards. The whole marriage thing, listen, Brother Gene, it involves whatever religion you are, it involves submitting yourself to something greater than yourself. This is the
absolutely.
age of me first, me before anything. And once it get uncomfortable, I can do whatever I want to do. When you're in that situation, people do what they want to do, and people are not submitting to things greater than themselves for that to work. That's what I keep trying to tell y'all. But I'm curious to ask the
You're right.
women,
You're right.
what is their stance on financial abortion?
I think you asked your priest that before, but go ahead and ask the other two ladies. Can you
No,
break
yeah,
it down?
the other two, actually I don't remember what Japri said. Either I think Japri agreed, but the Nurse Shay and
Jeree.
yeah, right, Jaree. What is their do you all agree that men should have financial abortion?
Financial abortion.
Explain that term to me. I've never heard that
Detail,
before.
yeah.
All right. So if a man and woman have sex, if a woman gets pregnant, after she's pregnant, she can say, I don't want to have this kid, abortion. It's her body, her choice. I'm 100 for it. Good. But if a man gets a woman pregnant, he should be able to say, you know what? I don't want to have anything to do with you or this kid. You was just a jump off, whatever reason. Financial abortion, meaning she can't put him on child support. He can't be held liable, whatever. If she chooses to, she still has a choice whether or not she wants to keep it. But if she does, she has to be completely on her own from a legal standpoint, meaning she cannot harass the man or put the man on child support or anything. She's basically choosing that he was a donor at that point and she's going to raise it by herself. Should men have that option?
No, I
From
don't
a
believe.
this is legal from a legal standpoint.
Well, I don't believe that. We all know that laws are not always right. So no, I don't believe that. I believe
Okay, so she
if you
said no.
lay
Okay.
if you lay with somebody, you know that there's a possibility that you could have a kid, regardless of how that like what that entails. You are taking responsibility for whatever happens after that.
So do you agree with
That's only
abortion?
because the law
Do you
says so. That's only
so
because
do,
the law says
No,
that. That's
no,
not because
I'm
it
not
just has to
talking.
be.
I'm not talking about the law. I'm talking about that is my belief. I believe that if somebody lays with me and I become pregnant, that is our child. That you can't take your DNA away. You can't take the action away that happened. You can't take all the things that happen after that. And if you believe anything about how society is and how Black children have been raised without fathers and without, you know, two-parent households and broken households, if you believe any of that has affected us, then I feel like that's a cop out for you because you don't want to take care of your responsibility.
so do you believe in abortion?
I do believe in abortion.
So you even without the father. So if the father says, "I don't want you to have an abortion," is it not his right?
I no,
Hypocrisy.
I feel like it is his right. Now, I feel like this conversation. I feel like a man can have say in that, but I feel like ultimately, when other things come into play, like um, the woman's health, like again the financial part of it, because there's
But
been a
less
lot.
than 2% of abortions are due to rape or health problems. Less than 2% of all of them are due to that reason.
I didn't say that there weren't. I'm just saying that there are other reasons why someone would have an abortion.
So
It's
a woman who gets
98%
it,
just because she wants to, though.
yeah.
98% is just
I
because the
don't.
woman wants to.
I'm not speaking on that. I've never had an abortion. I'm not speaking on that. You asked me about financial abortion. Then the question was posed about, do I believe in abortion? And I said yes. So I mean, like I said, I'm not in that situation. I've never been in that situation where I had to abort a baby. So I really can't speak on it. It's just a general question.
Okay. What say you, Nersha?
I believe in accountability. So, I mean, it takes
So
two.
no?
It takes
So,
two. So, I mean, I don't know. Take care of your responsibilities. I don't have no kids. Okay.
okay, so you said, okay, so no. So men, just quick note to the men, understand this. And this is why women do so much better than men around their issues. They are okay with the laws, the things that favor women, as they're supposed to be. That's human nature. Okay, they're okay with abortion, whatever. Men, they don't want you to have the same right legally, even though this would fix a lot of issues because a lot of these things run rampant in the community because they understand that they can just ruin a man's life, even though there was no family to begin with. They can just create chaos because the law allows it. This is a legal issue, man. This has nothing to even do with women. This is a legal because it wasn't always like this. If we change these laws, and that's why I started this petition, we can fix a lot of these issues. We have to let them be free, but we have to let them be free to be by themselves as well. And from a legal standpoint, it's unfair that a woman has abortion rights, but men don't have financial abortion rights, just from a legal perspective. Because it's not fair that the woman gets to make a decision that affects the man after the fact, but the
I
man can't make a decision.
again,
That's unfair legally.
this goes back to what I originally said. Law taken out of the equation. You are a man. You know when you lay with somebody, you have the possibility of getting a woman pregnant and spawning a seed. That is your responsibility first before the law even comes into the picture. You need to take responsibility for your actions. When it comes to kids, I don't think that a man should even in his mind be like, I didn't even want that little fucker. I didn't even want. No, you are a grown ass man. They were in your pants before they were even inside of her. So take responsibility for that.
Has
Well,
nothing to do with it. They were called
but
bastards.
I think what he's saying is that, and not to spawn off into this whole abortion. And Chris, I'm gonna let you chime in a second. I think what he's saying is that a woman can go have an abortion if a man still wants the child, and if he doesn't, and she can do it without his consent or anything.
I heard what he said, but like I said,
Do you think that's fair?
It starts from somewhere.
But do you think that's fair
Do I think it's for the what?
that a woman can have an abortion without even consenting the man, even though he may want to keep the child?
No, I don't think that's fair.
Okay, so that was the whole point. That was the whole point. What's up, Japrice? I mean, not Japrice. Chris, y'all look alike. So, what's going on,
It
Chris?
does now.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me okay? Is there an echo? I'm in a different location.
No, you good.
Okay. I'm good.
So
How are
jump in anywhere you want to jump in, Chris.
Yeah. So I want to answer the financial abortion question. That's a really good question. I think that there has to be more behind the scenes. The biggest thing about abortion, I agree with what you said, CJ, but I think where financial abortions could really make a change is in paternity fraud. Women listing men who potentially aren't the fathers as the father of their children, which I believe California passed a law where if you're not married to the man and he's not present, you can't put his name down. Like he has to be present and has to sign a paper saying, I'm willing to be financially responsible for this child. I am the father. But paternity fraud is a big deal. And even after the DNA proves that that is not the child's father, that father could still be responsible for paying child support just because the mother put the name on the birth certificate. I think that what should happen is when a man and a woman are intimate, if they both agree that they do not want children, they should have to sign something saying neither of us want children. And basically the woman's on birth control, whatever, doing what she has to do. The man's using contraception. If they happen to get pregnant and the man says, I do not want this child, we agreed that we did not want children, he should be allowed to say, we signed this contract, I am not financially responsible for this child. If you choose to keep it, you do that. But we had an agreement that we weren't having children. You signed it, you know what we signed up for. I don't want this. Because she does have a lot of a lot of benefit from, not benefit, but a lot of options when it comes to government assistance, getting an abortion, child support, all of that. And the men typically don't have that right.
Okay. So what's up?
But
King
we can
Gene.
as soon as we decide to vote for it, man. You better stop playing out here.
King Gene, what do you think about that?
I think G made a powerful point. Even though the financial abortion issue is important, J.I. has thoroughly elaborated on it. I understand where he's coming from. We would do well to be more intentional. If I don't want to have a child with you, I'm not going to have sex with you. Right? It's like I said yesterday, self-control. Now, it's a lot of people on the panel probably going to disagree with me. But now, if I never put myself in a situation where a child can be conceived, I cannot be upset with you when you decide not to have an abortion. I can't be upset with you. Right? So I think that once again, and you know, I'm an old country boy, I think we putting the cart before the horse. That's why we can't get to town to get our groceries. Because we need to put the horse before the cart so we can go and get on back to business. But if you're not laying down, if you're being responsible in that regard, if you're saying, okay, this is not my wife, this is not anybody that I'm going to have a long-term relationship with, I can't even stand this woman. And if you can't, you don't see a future with this woman, why are you laying down and giving the best of yourself to her? And then you're angry that you two produced a child and you have to care for it.
Now, brother Gene, let me poke
I ain't
a
gonna
hole in
lie.
that.
I'm not gonna lie. When Didi told me straight up that, you know, if she get pregnant, you know, ain't no abortions.
Right.
And when she was smelling good that day, I said, that's just the risk I'm gonna have to take.
I hear you,
You
bro.
know what I'm saying? So I said I'm gonna just have to take that one for the team.
But look at how long you and Didi have been together. See,
we started off
Gene,
as friends.
let me poke a hole in that argument.
First.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
Go ahead.
Let me poke a hole in your argument. So say you're married. Say it, not you, but say a man is married to his wife. It's people that married, they don't want to have kids.
Right.
I'll give you an example of dude I know. So he married chick, like, look, I'm in love with you, but I don't want no kids. Right. Now down the way, she knew that the chick, you know, she caught baby fever or whatever, got off her little birth control, whatever, didn't tell the dude. Now she has broken their understanding, right? Because she knew from jump, yeah, I'm gonna marry you. We gonna spend our lives together. Dude didn't want no kids. So if a married woman, I'm gonna ask you, brother Gene, if a married woman gets pregnant, can she have an abortion, brother Gene?
Well, now
Can
you know
she?
I don't believe in abortion. So
No, no, no. Legally, this is legal. I'm only legal with it. Can she
okay,
legally do it?
yeah, she had a legal right to be able to do it now.
Okay, so she got
Mhm.
the legal right. Men deserve that same right, and women, and it shouldn't be limited. Just like a woman's right isn't limited. Women can have it for whatever reason. And I debate this thoroughly, so I already got the stats on it. Only less than 2%, less than, are due to forced sex or health concerns. Men
Right.
deserve that same right, and men are gonna have to really, even if they would never do it themselves, men are gonna have to really rally around that which serves us. Because women don't have a problem supporting things that serve them. They will boldly say, I don't want you to have it, but I want us to have it. And men, we're gonna have to get like that from a legal perspective, because all this morality is subjective. But from a legal standpoint, men deserve those same rights. And if we had them, I would say it would help, because women will be more cautious, knowing from jump that they're gonna be on their own. Because they already on their own now, they're not together. But if they knew they didn't get these benefits, they would stop doing it as much. But that's what it is.
Let me
And I can
ask you.
see where
Let
you're
me let me
coming
switch
from.
gears. I really do want to switch gears real quick. I want to ask the ladies, why do y'all think that a lot of people, a lot of couples will stay in a situation for so long, knowing that the situation, and I don't want to use, I hate using this word toxic because I feel like it's overused. Why do y'all feel like we stay in, well, not we, why do you feel like people stay in those situations for so long? Do you think it's lack of confidence in themselves? Do you think they feel like they can't do better? Why do y'all feel like people stay in those awful situations when it's time to get out? I'll start with the nurses.
No, us.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I just feel a lot of people just comfortable. It's who you know. You've been with that man for 10, 20 years. That's all you know. And like that other guy said, the dating game is kind of trash for some people. I mean, it's slim pickings out here. So, yeah, a lot of people are comfortable.
Hmm.
I feel like people struggle with starting over. I feel like there's a lot of people who don't want to start over, who are thinking about all the stuff they're going to lose, what it's going to do to their kids, if they have kids, what it's going to do to their finances, where are they going to go, what are they going to do, like how do they prep themselves. I think it's like mostly, at least from people that I've talked to, it's mostly starting over.
Chris?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? Is it why do people stay
Yeah,
in
why do
relationships?
you? Because I see a lot of that, and I was just wondering: do you think it's out of fear, or do you think it's out of um, people knowing that maybe they don't have much to bring themselves, and you know, why would I? What do you think?
I think the main reasons, there are two main reasons, in my opinion. The first one is fear of being alone. I often hear women say, I'm happier with him than I would be single. Um, the second one is pride. This idea that I can change him, I can make him the person that I want him to be. The build-a-boo syndrome.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think those are probably the two things. So fear and pride.
Hmm. Japrice, then King Gene, and Ji. Y'all go ahead and
Yeah,
take those.
I was gonna say something similar. Like they feel as though they can be the one to change that. Like that person will change. So that's a lot of the reason why a lot of people stay in toxic relationships, like relationships where there's like drug abuse or like physical abuse or emotional abuse or something like that. I I would say that it's because of that reason.
All right, King Gene.
I remember us having this discussion one time before, CJ, and I used the same phrase that I used back then. Uh, you are, or you like to deal with the devil that you know, as opposed to the devil that you don't. So all of the difficulties that come with the relationship that you are presently in, you have developed coping mechanisms for that particular relationship. You know, when certain things happen, you know how to deal with them. And so I think there's a comfort in that. Just like I think it was Jeree who said that you're comfortable because you know how the relationship. Okay, well maybe it was Nurse Shay Shay. My bad, Shay Shay. Don't let me misquote. Okay, but you got ebbs and flows in the relationship, and you've gotten used to those. And it's a fear that's there. If I'm being honest, I'm speaking from experience because I'm a single father myself. Even though I'm still married, me and my wife are not together. I'm still married because according to the Bible, you can't get a divorce unless there's adultery that's involved. So that hadn't happened. So anyway, that's a long story. We don't have time for that. But the ebbs and the flows of the relationship you get used to. And so you're saying to yourself, now I know who this person is. I know what their character flaws are. But what if I go out after leaving this person and I run into someone who has worse character flaws? So it's a fear there. But here's the thing, and I've learned this over the last 6 months, that fear is not the reality. I promise you it's not. If you can muster the courage to come out of that situation, you can always build something better. You can always do it because if you have the strength to endure through all of the difficulties of that toxic relationship, I guarantee you have the strength to build something new and better for yourself. I just believe it.
But
I've
King
done
Gene,
it.
do you feel like? But do you feel like people use marriage as a reason to stay in awful situations though? Because
I,
people
I
will say, well, you're married, you need to work through this, you need to work through this. But when is enough enough?
and that's true. But I'll tell you now, are you asking for my opinion or are you asking for my belief? Which one do you want? Because there's a difference to me now. Okay. Now for my
Well,
belief, my my belief is that you should do the best that you can in your marriage, but there are certain things that breaks the marriage bond. Adultery is one of them. If you are the faithful spouse and you got this woman or this cat decide that they're going to have another relationship within your marriage, okay, you're done. You're done. You can go. You're free. But now as far as abuse, whether it's physical abuse, whether it's emotional abuse, if the abuse is as bad as a lot of people make it out, then you can't stay because your health, your physical health, is at risk. You can't stay in a situation where this cat is so crazy that it's a possibility that they might take your life from you. I don't think that anyone would be wrong for leaving a situation like that. I just don't. So those are my beliefs and my opinion mixed together. So hey, I
okay.
just
Ji, same question for you. Why do you think people stay in toxic situations for so long?
I'm gonna give a slightly different answer. If I go to McDonald's for 10 years and every time I'm there, I see the same person at the cash register, listen, that's what they deserve. People act like these relationships, they're supposed to have these great, everybody can't have no great relationship. Like, I don't know why everybody believes they can have these amazing if you McDonald's level, you got a McDonald's level job. If you surgeon level, you got
Mm.
a surgeon level job. These relationships are similar. I don't know where everybody gets this Disney fantasy that they gonna have an amazing relationship. Why do you think you deserve that? Who told you that? Who told you you deserve a great relationship? Like these types of things, and save for the things that Gene was saying. If he not going upside your head all the time and whatever, who told you supposed to have this? You supposed to have butterflies every time he come through the door and he whisking you away on trips and all this stuff. You may not deserve it. You may not deserve it. You may be the McDonald's cashier in the
Oh,
relationship world. Because guess what? If you deserved it, you would have it. That's just what it is. Because people with surgeon level skills, you don't see them as cash registers at McDonald's because they surgeon level. Okay. People who are lawyers, you don't see them taking orders and flipping fries. They not flipping Krabby Patties. We got to have that same understanding when it comes to these relationships. Everybody can't make it. Everybody can't make the team. Everybody can't make the team in high school. You got to get in where you fit in. And if you are on the low, crappy relationship, if every relationship you ever had was crappy, maybe that's just you. That's your relationship level. Accept it, work with it, find that if you can't be with the one you love the one you with, or just be alone. But everybody does not deserve some great amazing relationship. It is what it is. People need to stop living in these fairy tales, man. These fairy
I
tales is
agree.
killing
I don't even
folks.
know anybody who has that kind of relationship, honestly, besides movies. I don't know
Right.
anyone that
Can
has
I
a
These
fairy
also
tale
people
say?
crazy.
relationship.
Can I also say that I think that what's disheartening is that sometimes you don't ask for much but the bare minimum, and you don't even get that. And I feel like by telling somebody, because I don't agree with that. I don't believe in fairy tale relationships. I don't believe in, the love songs and, like you said, the butterflies. I think that is a myth that was fed to a lot of little girls when they were younger. But I also would never tell anybody they don't deserve the best of what they can get. Like I don't, I feel like what you're saying is,
That's
if
the best they can get, though. That's
if
what you're not acknowledging. That's
yeah,
the best they can get.
but you're saying if someone doesn't, that someone doesn't deserve like a high level of love. And I feel like, what, instead of phrasing it like that, because it sounds really like negative, and I feel like
That's the
that's what,
real. That's the real.
okay, I'm gonna finish. It sounds really negative. I feel like when that everybody receives love differently. That goes back to what I was saying about, I'm not going to give my love to anybody who's not ready to receive it. I feel like, I do agree with that. If you don't find that, you should be by yourself. I just believe that. But I also believe that if you enter a relationship with somebody, don't settle. And what you're saying sounds a lot like settling to me. I don't feel like anybody should just be in a relationship just to be in a relationship. I feel like if you're in a relationship with somebody, both of you should be working towards the same thing. It's not just like, babe, this is how I am. I feel like people should take responsibility for who they are as people. I feel like when you're in a relationship with somebody, that should be a relationship, because that's two people joining together to do two things to build towards something. It's not just being stagnant. Otherwise, you don't. What's the point of y'all being together? Because y'all just procreating for what? Or y'all just hanging out for what? It's pointless.
I
Let
think
me
you
ask, what is the fairy tale like? So, what is the fairy tale relationship?
That
Because
some man is gonna whisk you up off your feet and save you and take away all your problems and gonna treat you like a princess and a queen. That's not realistic.
so do y'all feel like relationships are supposed to be difficult?
No, but there's difficulties in every relationship. That's part of it, because you're joining two opposing things. Because regardless of whether you're working towards the same thing, men and women are completely different. They're wired differently. So learning to work together, that's what makes a relationship work, when you're building towards the same thing.
Hmm. What? Let me see, Chris. What do you think? Relationships, are they supposed to be difficult, or because go ahead, go ahead. I'm gonna say how I feel in a minute.
No, I think relationships can be challenging. I agree with the last part she said. I think relationships can be challenging. I think that there are lots of learning. It's a learning curve. You're learning each other. I think I made this point when we were talking about children. I don't know if it was on this particular podcast, but we were talking about mothers having children. And I was saying, when you have a child, the biggest mistake mothers make when they have children is that they think is going to come to them instantly. They're just going to know exactly what to do, when to do it, and everything about this baby. What you're really doing is you're studying this baby's personality. You're studying who they are. You have no idea who this baby is. You carry them for 10 months, but there are certain things that you have to learn about them still. And it's the same with the relationship. You are learning this person every single day, and you're giving and you're receiving, and there's yin, there's yang, there's give, there's take, there's so many things that you're doing. But one thing I want to say really fast is they were saying completely different things. The what JI was saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, JI, it was more so like, if you have Toyota money but you want a Mercedes, you're not settling for the Toyota. Like, you don't just deserve the Mercedes because you think.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, the metaphor that you're using, it needs to be translated to real life. Like, anybody can say that, but what does that translate into real life? What are you actually saying that person deserves?
Okay, let me clear it up.
If you're
If
a
every
bum,
man,
you deserve a
go ahead.
bum.
Oh, you don't get a Captain America.
I feel like if you're a bum, you don't need to be with anybody. Because it's going to be
Let
toxic.
me clear it up. If every man that you deal with treats you wrong or ain't right or whatever, you always getting cheated on, whatever. You can't never find no good fit. Everybody ain't Cinderella. You may not get no good fit. You just are at that level relationship wise. And this is what people don't want to understand. They put other factors into the relationship thing. From what I understand, it's a lot of CNAs that feel like they should make what nurses make, but they don't pass the NCLEX or go do what they got to do to get there. They CNA level, no matter how they feel. It's a lot of people like that on a relationship level. They feel like they deserve a good guy that's not going to cheat on them and blah, 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 blah. Who told you deserve it?
I feel like that does not make any sense. I don't feel like anybody should be cheated on. If you're not going to be that person, walk away. Go somewhere else.
And she can. But if she chooses to be in a relationship, she may just have to accept that, look, guys cheat on me because I'm not special enough for a guy to be faithful to me. That's just what it is. Some girls, that's really what it is. That's really what it is, though.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold up. What's up, Malcolm? Let me give my brother Malcolm a chance to talk real quick. Malcolm, I got 6 people, so I'm gonna have you say what you can say to the panel, and then go ahead, and we might have to get you up out of here because I can't handle the big panels like that. But go ahead, Malcolm.
No problem. CJ, what's good, brother? I'm just listening to everything that's saying. I just want to chime in real quick. I hear what the brother is saying. If she decides to stay in the situation in order to get cheated on, that is on her, unfortunately. And if she does not have the will to step out of it, then she's accepting it for what it is. And I do agree. Nobody should be cheated on. We are adults. If you don't want to be there, go. Get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Why should she be cheated on? Why should she be cheated on, Malcolm?
Nobody should be cheated on. We're adults. If you don't want to be with somebody, nobody told me that. Like, no one deserves to be cheated on. Like, as much as emotion comes over, and we just say that someone should be cheated on, within your emotion, yes, you're gonna feel that. But as I've grown older and more mature in how relationships work, it's like, nah, no one deserves to be cheated on. If you don't want to be with somebody, leave. You cheat on somebody, you're wasting their time and your energy trying to, like hide text messages, try to act like I'm not doing A, B, and C, coming on late and try to defend it, and you're getting defensive if your spouse or your relationship individual asks you why you get home so late. You know what I mean? No one deserves to get cheated
Malcolm, does everybody deserve a living wage? Malcolm, does everybody deserve a living wage?
Yes.
Regardless of what work they do? You think
Honestly, at this point, yes. I'm an essential worker. Everyone deserves a living wage. Now, some of the living wages are ridiculous. Like, I saw this thing on Facebook saying, like, you should make like $25 an hour if you're working at Burger King, whatever. And I'm like, nah. I work in a hospital. We're working this pandemic. Why should someone that's flipping burgers from my position that's working a hospital where I caught COVID, I catch COVID again, and I'm struggling to join versus the person that's flipping burgers? I'm not disrespecting the person that's flipping burgers, but it's the fact that if I work at a hospital and I'm on all these sick patients all day, why does someone that's flip burgers should make more than I do? Now I'm making $24 off rip.
So so it's pretty much levels to it. That's what I'm gathering from all this. You should date on your level.
Yes.
Right?
Everybody doesn't deserve a good relationship or a happy relationship.
Well, I don't feel like this. Just because someone's underneath your level doesn't mean they're not dateable. You know what I mean? I get why, like, you don't want to go through struggle being broke, being this. I get that. But don't look down someone just because they're not making the same financial bracket you are. At least find out why before you make that decision. You know what I mean? And don't underline their job. Like, I'm a security guard. I work at NYU Hospital in Manhattan. And some people, oh, I'm a guard. That's just it. But yet I make a lot of money versus like some teachers, if you think about it, just for being a security guard.
Well, hey, Malcolm, man, I really appreciate you coming on up, brother. Thank you very much. And like I said, if you come in earlier next time, we'll keep you on, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, bro.
Thank you. What's up, Rodney? What's going on, sir?
What's going on? I
What's
love
how
the
you?
show, man. Love it, love it.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. What's going on with you, sir?
Oh, just working, man. I thought I'd get on up in here and see what I can do with it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. So what you got to say to the panel?
I just people. What I'm hearing there are a few people who just think that there are a lot of absolutes in life. There are no absolutes in anything. Nothing is ever textbook, and we're all nurses here. We know that nothing is ever textbook. So, and sometimes you have to take the best out of terrible scenarios. And you got to do the same thing in relationships. I know you don't think that that's the case, but it is. It's just like the man store. Have you ever heard the joke? I mean, the story about the man store where the woman goes in and she's trying to find a man, and now on the first floor, she has a man who, he looks good. He has a little bit of money, okay? And then she goes, okay, but they say you can go up to the next floor. Okay, and the next man on the next floor is even better. He
Yeah, I've
looks
heard
good,
that story.
has great sex, all this, whatever, So then the women keep going to the next floor, the next floor, the next floor, till they get up to the top floor, and then they say there are no more men. All the men have been taken. They're all on the lower floors. So that's what you hear with this situation, is that these women are believing in everybody receives a trophy. Nobody should be cheated on. Have you ever heard of situations where people are in marriages where that person is perfect in everything except the sex? The box is trash, but they keep them because it's the best of the scenario of what they found, and they don't want to get back out here. You have situations like that, or you may have a person who the box is great and everything else is trash. There are people who get in these relationships who cannot detach themselves from these relationships, and you have to evaluate yourself as a person and say, okay, these are my limitations. This is why I'm making these decisions. But you don't see that in a lot of women. They don't take any accountability for why things are happening, and things just keep happening the same way.
Any of my panelists want to respond to that? No. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Rodney.
Mic dropped, man. Hey, I will be listening. I'm in the background, buddy. Hey, and I'm gonna share you up, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man.
I got you, dog.
If you ever want to come on earlier, man, just hit me up and
definitely.
We'll make it pop.
And we're gonna talk. You're gonna have to help me get this money, man.
Oh, for sure, man. Let's do it.
All right, bro. Yeah.
All right, man. All right, ladies.
I comment on the settling part, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
I believe that a lot of people get the word settle in relationships a little wrong. I feel like they say, I don't want to settle, and it's not necessarily settling if that's the best that you can do. It's always going to be someone better than who you're with. There's always going to be someone more handsome, someone more beautiful than who you're with, and that's just life. Settling is I'm going to the store, but I know I'm going to the store, and actually there's two shirts, and one is pink and one is purple. I can't decide. Like, I'm just gonna settle for the pink one because I like pink. I like pink, but I do like both. That's settling. Or let's just put it in relationship form. I have two guys here that are ready to marry me, and they both have the same everything, but one's hairline is maybe up here and one is maybe back there. I'll just choose the one that's hairline is right there. Like, that is like considered selling. It's because there's always going to be someone better. It's always going to be, but if that's the best that you can do, and that and there's nobody in this world that should believe that they just deserve it all and deserve all this stuff, because that's not like that. Everybody, and mostly in America, are average people, just average human beings. And I don't know where this like big, super duper huge, unrealistic appetite comes from, but that's what I feel settling is.
Japri, you know I got love for you, right? You know that. You know I support you. Why you had to go to the hairline, man? Why you had to do it like that?
Because that's CJ's favorite. He loves talking about people's hairline.
You know mine done been retired for quite a while now, man. Look how you just did me just then.
No, CJ asked.
I want to ask the ladies, y'all silly. I want to ask the ladies, do you feel like when single people are out there dating, do you feel like people overestimate their own value, right? So like ladies, if a man approached you, right? And let's say he was a janitor at a high school and he saw you and he knew you were a travel nurse. Do you think he's overestimating his own value when it comes to getting with you?
Men want what they can't have. So I mean,
I'm gonna be honest. No, I'm gonna be honest because I feel like
Go ahead.
there's a lot of people who don't care. Like I feel like there's a lot of people, like in women specifically, who are like, I'm gonna love the fuck out of that man. I'm gonna love him. I'm gonna build him up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna provide. I'm gonna do what I can do until he gets there. Like, I mean, I've seen that so many times in my friends. I've seen that so many times, and like just outside looking in relationships where people where specifically women want to in their mind like make it work. And I feel like there's a lot of men out there, and this also happens in reverse. There's a lot of men out there who kind of take advantage of that. So I believe that it happens, where women, I'm not going to use the term settle because I don't want somebody to like jump down my throat, but I feel like
You can say what you want to say. This is an open platform. You just got to be able to handle the smoke in the comments if it comes. But you say what you want to say.
But no, at the end of the day, I think that that has happened where women kind of feel like that there's somebody who's kind of like beneath them or maybe not exactly at their level, and they're willing to kind of like work with it. And I feel like that's where a lot of women do get taken advantage of and cheated on and physically abused, because a lot of the women that I've seen who have been abused are really like, they don't know how smart they are. They don't know how capable they are. They hold relationships. I literally know a nurse who's had a man that would call her every hour on the hour between, her passing meds, between her checking on her patients to make sure she was at work, to make sure she wasn't taking a lunch break when she wasn't supposed to, and I don't know, having an affair outside in the parking lot. And every time he would call, he needed money for something. He needed a bill paid. And she was the provider while he stayed home. So I mean, I've seen that a lot where that's happened.
That's her level.
Too.
Wait, Nurse Shay. I want to get back to you because you said some of these men want what they can't have. So is he delusional then? If he's approaching you and he works as a janitor, is he overestimating his then own value in your opinion?
No, I mean, it's something to definitely work on. No,
he's not. Okay.
I don't think he's overestimating it at all. Like I said, just work on yourself. Keep working on yourself till you get to that point.
Okay. So you drop your nephew off at school. You see he has a big mop in his hand and then somebody spills a cup of orange juice. But he just happens to see you walking by and he says, "Man, she is really beautiful. Let me go holler at her. Excuse me, my name is Michael. I'm a janitor here at Henry Ford High School. I know he just spilled his juice. I'm gonna ignore that for a second, but I want to come holler at you."
Don't let him do you like this,
how are you responding? Listen, I'm 29 years old. I'm in school. I'm on a come up. Yes, I'm mopping spoiled milk, but you are beautiful, and I feel like I can treat you the way no other man could treat you. He is essentially shooting his shot. Is he overestimating his value? Are you going to give him the time of day?
I'm going to say I appreciate what you do. I really do. We reach you guys, and I know that you're working on yourself. Keep doing that, okay? Keep doing that. Now, if we ever meet in another lifetime again, when you are well established, come holler at me, okay? Come holler at me. But thank you. I need to go. Appreciate what you do, okay?
All right. Nurse Jeree, you dropping your son off at school. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He going to preschool, and you got Jerome. He come up to you. Jerome just cleaned up some vomit, got a little bit of vomit on his knees, but he's a nice guy. He works 60. He works 60 hours a week. He's doing his thing. He don't got no kids. He's in decent shape. He's a good guy. Never been to jail. Has his own crib. All that stuff. And you know he knows that you're a travel nurse. He sees you drop your son off every other day or whatever the case may be. Somebody calls him to clean up a spill. It don't happen. But he wants to run into Nurse Jeree because I don't know. You might be wearing love spell that day and you attracted him or something like that. So he comes and holler at you. He's shooting his shot at you. Listen, baby, I'm not like them other guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna save up my pennies. Let me take you out to Roof Chris for a night, and can we do something for a first date? What do you think? Is he overestimating his value?
I mean,
She's not hungry.
okay, but see, my thing is like, I mean, I have questions. You know what I mean? Like, initially, no, especially when you adding on that. Let me get my pennies and stuff. Like, that's too much. You're doing too much. But like, genuinely, no.
So he is overestimating his value.
No, I mean, with all of that, yes. I wouldn't say okay. I wouldn't say overestimating his value, but I just don't like. I just don't see that working. I just don't see it working.
Why? If you didn't even give him a shot.
Because everybody that walk up to me, I'm not just like, yeah, sure, let's go on a date. When there's other, like y'all said, there's other available men out there. He's just not it for me.
Okay. Is it because
comment and
because he's a janitor?
No, I've dated janitors before.
So, but CJ didn't really say anything other than that. I mean, anything really about him, just that he was a janitor and that.
And he had some vomit on his clothes. That's
yeah.
it.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. He didn't give him too.
I was saying it based off what the way he was saying it, the terminology that he was using.
Okay. I'm being facetious at that part.
Let's just say that, CJ, about the pennies. Who says that?
Okay. I'm being facetious, right? I'm being funny. But he approached you as a gentleman. He said, "Listen, I want to take you."
I'm not gonna say no. Like, it's possible. Based just off of how you was doing it, no. But it's possible. Like I said, I've dated dudes before that were janitors.
All right. Well, to all the janitors that want to holler at Nurse Shay, that may be in the comments, y'all don't got a shot, sir. So all the janitors, y'all can get up out of here when it comes to Nurse Shay. Chris, same question to you. I know you don't have children. Chris, you just got off work. You running into Quavon. You dropping your little nephew off at school and everything like that. His hairline is receding a little bit, but he's a nice guy. He works hard. He's approaching you and he says, "You know what? I'd like to take you out sometime. Can we go to Starbucks?" You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I work here about 60 hours a week, but I'm trying to get this popping. You dig what I'm saying? I'm thinking about shaving my head and getting my hairline together. Can I take you out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
I'll take a lemon fog venti.
Okay. Now, Japrice, I know you don't mess with dudes with messed up hairlines, so I'm not going to say that. But same scenario pretty much for you. If you was a single woman.
No, I told you I went on a date with a guy that hairline was... I remember, and he was a really nice guy.
You did. You're right.
Yeah, he was really nice, and he had something on his arm too. So it wasn't like I was being shallow or anything. I was just going back to North Carolina. And...
No, he had something on his arm. What does that mean?
Yeah, like okay, he had like a
keloid.
I don't know.
A tattoo?
It was he had like 2 huge keloids on his wrist. He was a really nice guy. Like if I wasn't in the military, I probably would have continued to see what he was about. But I had to go back to North Carolina. So,
can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
To everybody, if your significant other cheated on you, would you stay with them?
Nope. Gotta go.
No, not at all.
I also don't think it's the same when men cheat as women. It's not the same.
God.
Nope.
Listen, That's about to be a whole nother conversation. Let's let these ladies at the bottom answer that question. That's about to be a whole nother conversation. Go ahead, Chris. What'd you say?
Like everything else, it depends. If it was like a drunken night, I think we could work on it. Especially if we have kids, I would try. But if it was like an affair, and it's something that he's built over time, and is restricting the resources in my home, my mental health, and that's a different story. But if it's like drunken night, he tells me the next day, yeah, we can work on it.
Wow. All right. Caprice?
No, I'm not gonna leave my husband because of that. If it's not public and if no babies came out of it, we can work on it. Don't publicly. My husband
Praise
doesn't know
God.
this. My husband doesn't know this. He doesn't know this. I've never told him this.
Praise the Lord.
If he doesn't publicly embarrass me,
What did
no
he say?
outside,
I'm
no
sorry.
outside babies.
You a Christian woman. Praise God.
I'm not gonna leave my husband so another woman can take my spot.
Hallelujah.
No.
Hallelujah.
That's wisdom.
If
That's the word from on high. They need to pass the plate.
We are not advocating cheating, by the way. I'm not.
No, we're not. We just have to be smart about it. And if there's children, which they are, if I do want to leave my husband, I will wait till my children are probably 18 to 21. Until they're
What was you about to say,
understand.
Jerry? Jerry, what was you about to say?
No, I was trying to figure out what I think his name is Jay. I said I missed.
Yeah, me too. I couldn't hear.
I said, praise the Lord. I said,
Before
Japrice is a
that.
God-fearing woman.
Oh,
King Gene, you leaving or you staying?
Now, CJ, as close as me and you are, you already know what the answer to this is because it's already been done.
Well, they might not know. They might not know though.
I am out. I'm out. Let me tell you why. Because it's either it was Nurse Shay Shay or Jeree that said it. I don't remember because I'm old, but when I'm that situation for me was one that I poured my entire existence into. So now, after I have poured everything I have into this situation, and the result of it is that now you cultivate a long-term relationship inside of this marriage, I got to be out. I got to give you your walking papers. I don't know where you're gonna go, but you can't stay here. So
yeah, that's a wrap for me. Because will you ever trust that person again?
You can't, CJ. You can't.
I think
I'm paying bills, and as I'm handling all of the bills in the household, I'm thinking about whether or not this person really deserves me doing this.
Or she getting clapped by Ray Ray.
And that's another one too, man. That's another one too. I couldn't do it. And so I didn't. And like the Blooming Evidence said, your mental health starts to come into play. Because now for me, I'm an engineer, electrical, and so a lot of times what I do site work. Work comes up, and I travel to a site, and I might be gone overnight. I don't do that now because I have to raise my daughter, but I would do site work. And so whichever site needed me to come out and to do repairs or anything like that, I'm there. But then while I'm there, what's going on at home? While I'm handling business, what's going on at home? So, I just
sorry.
Go ahead. Hey, King Gene, they want to know real quick. Did you ever cheat?
Never.
Go ahead, Jerry.
But then again too. Now I wasn't there. I wasn't at home, so
right.
I have another question. There's
Wait,
a lot.
Would you stay? Would you stay though? Would you stay?
I mean, I have before, but I won't ever again.
What about you, Shay?
Given a lot of chances, so no.
Shay, what about you? Your husband?
Oh, is this like hypothetical?
Yeah, hypothetical. What about you? If your husband,
would I stay?
Yeah, if he cheated once.
I mean, no.
Okay. No. All right. What was you about to say, Jerry?
Okay, so I see a lot of people in the comments talking about the whole janitor situation. Okay,
since it's not about money, what if there was a woman and she was beautiful and she was all these things, but she was terrible with money. And when you got with her, basically she kind of ran you guys into the ground because she was always, or you had to like basically watch her like a kid with money. Like, how important is a woman?
That's not a problem.
That's not a problem.
But she
Because
shouldn't
a
have
real man
access
ain't
to no
gonna.
money like that.
Yeah, a real man ain't gonna let you do that.
Right.
Women's not gonna
Yeah,
what?
how she gonna mess up the money if she ain't got it?
Right. See,
No, like
so,
because when you're together with somebody, their debt kind of becomes your debt. So what if it gets to the point where she's kind of drowning financially and you have to help her? So like, what if it's
No
somebody like,
marriage. If she acts outside of what I tell her to do, and I tell her don't buy stuff, and she keep buying stuff, she just gonna have to suffer on her own. Because she disobedient at that point. She brought that on herself.
What do you mean by debt, though? Like, what kind of debt are we talking about? Are we talking about student loan debt? Are we talking about gambling debt? Like, what
it
are
could
you
be,
actually
yes,
talking
it
about?
could be gambling. It could be maybe she owes a lot in taxes and or maybe her wages have been garnished. I mean, there's a whole bunch. Yeah, child support. There's a whole
Oh,
bunch.
hell no. I wouldn't even mess with her.
There's a whole bunch, but I'm just saying, what if you with this person?
I
You said
mean,
money don't matter.
They start looking at
It's
the spouse.
not, you want to.
Just because money don't matter, I'm not gonna
If
let
she
you.
do the
I'm
other
not gonna
stuff,
let
then
you
I'm
become a
cool.
liability to me either. Because money
Okay,
don't matter.
so knowing that women like protectors, knowing that women like feeling financially secure, because that's part of it, because most women don't make as much as men. Isn't that kind of like important? It's not all the end all to be all, whatever the expression is, but I mean, I see a lot of women catching slack because they want somebody who's financially secure. Like, that should make sense for anybody.
No.
Well, in
Okay,
your
let me
example,
let the panel go around and answer that. Me personally, I don't think there's nothing wrong with a woman wanting a man who's financially secure. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that she has to be that direct reflection of what she's asking for. But go ahead, Chris. I see you had your hand up. Go ahead.
I think the thing is financially secure and high value aren't the same thing. I think the issue is so many women now think that a man has to be making six figures in order to provide for his family. And jobs like janitors, plumbers, electricians, HVAC, people who make average salaries, who still work pretty hard to provide their wives with a lifestyle that allows them to stay home. They do get, oh, there's an echo.
Oh. Hey, not to cut you off. Them janitors, I'm not janitors, but those HVAC truck drivers. I know my homie Teddy G making 200 stacks a year as a truck driver. So, but go ahead, Chris. Not to cut you off.
Yeah, but it starts immediately. Like, as you get into the experience. Same with accountants. When you become an accountant, you're making 45 to 70 in a good, if you're in a niche. But then over time, you can make more. But at first, it takes a while. With doctors, people think surgeons come out making 400 grand. When they're in school, they're making 35,000. Or sorry, not doctors. I mean professors. And even doctors, they don't make much either when they're going to residency. So it takes time. I think the issue is those types of jobs get overlooked very often because women want a particular lifestyle and they don't want to make certain sacrifices. If a man has certain characteristics and he wants to provide for his wife, but maybe you can't live in Bel Air, you have to settle to live in, the suburbs in Riverside, that shouldn't be looked down upon. And like the example about the woman, I get that example, but that was more so based on characteristics. Like, she's doing something habitual. A man's job and his livelihood, I don't think that's the same thing as a woman having.
I feel like, well, at least for me, when I say I want somebody who makes mine and above, it's because I've dated men who
Can
don't.
You say what and above? Can you say that again?
The reason why I want somebody who makes what I make and above is because I've dated men who basically jump down my throat because I make more than them, who feel emasculated because I make more than them, who basically there's like turmoil, unnecessary turmoil within the relationship because I make more than them. So it's not like I'm saying I can't be with the man because I've been with these men. It's just that it's always is always a problem because men always feel like my girl make more than me. everybody and anybody who's a man can attest to this. Like, if you're gonna make more than you, you're gonna feel some type of way. Like, you're gonna feel some type of way that she's able to buy the
I
house,
don't.
or that she's
Wait, hold
able
on. Let her respond. Let her respond. Let her say it. Go ahead. Go
that
ahead.
she's
Go ahead.
able to buy a house, that she's able to pay for all the bills. Like, yes, it'd be nice that if you ain't got it, your girl can help you. But when that is the norm for your entire relationship, it just makes them uncomfortable. I've had men who make less than me who I offered to take them out on a date, and I offered to, you know what I mean? Oh, let me, do something for you. Straight up tell me no. I was in a relationship with somebody, and he had a good job. He was just terrible with money. But he was just like, I said, oh, I want to go to Greece in January. I said, I'm gonna book us a trip to Greece. Let me know the dates, XYZ, whatever. And he straight up said no. He said, I'm gonna. No, he did. Like, you're laughing, but he genuinely said no. He was like, no, I'm gonna have. I can give you at least my portion in December, and this is like June or whatever, some way early on. I'll give you my portion in December. I'm like, so the tickets are cheap now. Like, we can do this now. No, we're gonna wait until December. And it's just kind of like every time it was about money, there was a problem, and it made him uncomfortable, and it ended up him basically going off on me. Yeah, going off on me about how I emasculate him, about how I make him feel some type of way, and that I think that he's shit. And which, like I said, I've never said anything of these things.
Okay, let me let Japrice respond, and then remember what you said right there, because I want the men to respond after Japrice. Because I feel where you coming from. I feel where you coming from. Go ahead, Japrice.
I think the problem with that, well, let me say this first and I'll answer the question. I think the problem with that, Jury, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Is that you're probably having an issue with actually understanding men. This is by nature that a man does not want to like, they don't want a woman to do things for them. Like, they're not going to value whatever that you have given them. Women are born with value. Men have to work towards that value. So this is just all men. It's just by nature, and it's either we accept it or we just, deal with the outcomes. A man is not going to feel in his purpose as a masculine man if you was to do that for him. And if you understand what I'm saying, but yeah. So to answer that question, someone said it in the comments, Ms. D. Financially secure for me is not a number. She said in dollars, but it's a number in things that can be handled.
I agree.
I don't know if you ladies know, or maybe anybody else on the panel, the average Black man in this country doesn't make more than $45,000 a year.
I also outside my race, so we're clear.
The average white man doesn't make over $50,000 a year. So that is comfortable. That is well off to be able to take care of your family without being huge consumers and living in your means, and not being huge consumers, and getting the things that you need and not the things that you want. And it's totally doable. Nobody on except for the 1%ers can be able to afford to send their children to college, pay full in cash.
All right, King Gene. But wait, I just want to say this. But Nurse Jeree, real quick, do you understand why some people say nurses, and myself included, are delusional? Because it's like we live in a world where most of the people don't live in, because you do have access to money like that, and not even trying to be funny or try to brag or anything like that. That's what I say. Like, that's not average. Nothing about that is average. To be able to pick up and just go to Greece like that, and myself included, I had to check myself, because I would feel some type of way if somebody that I was rocking with for a long time could not just pick up and do the things that I do, because I've come into a certain space now.
But I know what you're saying, and I feel like with how I operate within a relationship, I feel like it should be okay for me to buy a gift for my man. It should be okay for me to want to take my man out. It should be okay for me to book a trip for us, because my thing is I could do all this frivolous things with my money, but if I'm with you, like we're together. So I want to do things with my man. I want to do things together. So I get what you're saying about not about how a man operates and stuff. I understand that, but it wasn't just like I was trying to take care of him or hold him or be in charge of the relationship. It was something I wanted to do because that's what I do.
But see,
Yeah,
most
it was
men,
just
but
it's
most
just
men don't have that confidence though.
That's what I'm saying.
To deal with a woman, me, had it been me, I've been like, let's go. I'm calling off. I'm out. Let's go. Shit, I wouldn't have cared. But a lot of dudes are not comfortable with that kind of, with the woman having that much financial independence, knowing that he can't return the favor. You know
it's
what
I
I'm
don't think
saying?
it's the problem with financial independence. It's because of the nature of men. Like it will be emasculating a man. Like it and this is what to understand. That's just how it is. We can't go around it. The man has always been the provider, the strong. We are the weaker vessel. And of course it's so great in your willingness, in your um giving to to pay for the guy that you're dating trip. That would have been so great. But then also you will also have to take consideration that if you guys didn't work out, us women will feel used and abused. Like, dang, I really did all this for this man, and we're not even ended up together. So you just have to weed out like men like that. Like when I've noticed too, when if you buy a man a gift, he won't really value it like if he worked hard for it and he bought it himself. That's most men. Some men are not like that. I'm not gonna say all men, but that's just like sis, like that's just like how that men nature is. Like they've always been. Man, help me out. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm like my
Hey,
mind.
but you know what? I
Well,
can't.
let me
I'm,
hop
I'm,
in.
I'm about to let King Gene go. But
I get what you're
let me
saying,
tell you
but
something.
that's
My
why
woman
I
bought
take
for my
myself out of
birthday.
the equation.
For my birthday, my woman bought me a cruise. I ain't saying no to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's just me. I can accept a gift. Now, most men, maybe not. But I wouldn't care if she made $400,000 a year. You buy me a gift and you taking me, so I'm out. We rolling. But I know at the end of the day, I can still get it for myself. Go ahead, King Gene. Respond. Would you respond to Miss Jerry?
And I think that's I think that's important too. But one way to clear up all of the difficulties in that particular situation, Jerry, is uh, if the lady is bad with money, right? As an intentional man, I have already sit down and I have calculated the expenses, right? I have a budget. And within that budget, when I have already set aside the monies that I need to handle everything, to put in savings, I say, okay, this is the amount of money that we have that we can play with. You can play with this money, but you don't have access to the main source of funds because the main source of funds is used to meet the budget. So I think that's an easy. I mean, I've had it happen before. That's an easy way to fix the situation. If she's not good with money, here's the amount of money that you can be frivolous with. The rest of the money goes toward what's needed for the household, right? So that's my thoughts on it. But as far as all of the rest of that, the back and forth about high value men, about being average, things of that sort. Uh, Here's the thing: if this particular gentleman that you meet, if he's able to care for himself and he's consistently able to meet the needs of his own household, and he wants to include you in that household, I guarantee you he'll be able to make a way for it if he's consistent, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for consistency. You're looking for a track record of somebody being able to use the resources that they have effectively. And if he can, then that's a good indication that this is a guy that you can trust.
All right, Jay, I'll go ahead.
All right. So to touch on, I'm not even gonna hit on the first point because Brother Gene already sold that up. But the two things that she said, the one, the men don't like a woman making more. To me, it doesn't matter because I'm still only gonna operate at whatever my price range is. So that's why it goes back to my whole thing. Men shouldn't be moving in with women, trying to combine our income and get a bigger. No, you live at whatever you can afford as a man, and that's it. And then a woman has to deal with you at that level. She can't accept that. Y'all just unequally yoked. You know, you got to let her go. That's simple on that. Now, when you try to conflate these things, oh yeah, okay, what you just said about the guy wasn't wrong. If the guy told you no, you should have said, okay, what's more important, this cruise or doing what my man say? The cruise was, or the trip, whatever it was, the trip was more important. When he told you no, hold
I'm
up,
sorry.
let me get. When he told you no, that should have just been what it was. You should have just, okay, well, blah blah blah. What? How do you want to
It
do it? If he
wasn't
said you
that.
want to do it in December,
That's not what ended the relationship. It was the
I
explosive.
didn't say that's what ended the relationship. I don't know what happened in the relationship. I said I'm talking about that point because that's just what you brought up. In that, he was right. You should have just done what, moved about it how he wanted to move about it,
I
because
didn't. I
he
didn't buy
was
anything. I didn't like. It did not happen. So it's not like
okay.
the relationship was extensive. So it's not like it just all of a sudden I was just like, oh no, I can't do this. I can't do this. It was just like, okay, okay. Reason why I was saying it because it was building to his frustration where he exploded on me. You
Right.
know
But
what I'm
in, and I'm only
saying?
speaking on the situation.
And
That
when
one thing, he was right. If the guy says whatever, then you do what he says, because that's, he's supposed to be, being the leader or whatever. And this comes to that own thing. You can't have two heads in anything. And the way that it's difficult for women that, again, going back to this environment that we're in, when a woman it's not that it's the money, it's how women move when they have this money. It's more difficult for them to want to be how they're supposed to move, like what Japri said. It's a natural thing in men. Men do not like, even a lot of men do not like being undermine like that. And if it's somebody like CJ who he's cool with it, and whatever, okay, cool, then you do it. But he obviously he wasn't cool with it because he said no. So then you should have, okay, I'm not gonna do that, whatever, move however he wants to do it. If he wants to come for his half in December, which is what I believe you said, then that should have been how it goes. But money part issues aside, it's a whole dynamic of how people move. To me, that is more important, because like everybody keeps bringing up, the average person, average black man only makes about 40,000. Average white guy only about 50,000. It's about how you move and operate as a man and as a woman, and the dynamic has just been too skewed because of these outliers and these outlying issues in the dating world that we have today, to where it's just causing too much of a schism. But these truths like Japrice brought up, those have been here since the beginning of time, and they're gonna always be here. A man is never gonna want to be undermined, and a man is never gonna want to be made to feel that way. And if he does, if you do something that does cross that line, the immediate, to me, the right response is to backtrack, apologize or whatever, and see how he wants you to move, how he wants to handle it, and then okay, that's what we're gonna do, and then that's the end of the conversation, right there.
But let me be objective though. I want to be objective because I understand what she's saying though. Now, no, we talk all this stuff about people dating, or like the women who do make that much to get an average man a shot. To her credit, she gave the average man a shot. You know what I'm saying? The average earning man a shot. And I understand what she's saying. So is it being undermined, or him not having enough confidence in himself to say, you know what?
It's
She
being
did this
undermined.
for me. She did this for me. She wants to do this for me. Why can't I just accept this as a gift and move on with my life? I don't think she approached it in a negative way, saying, "Oh, we need to do this." If she approached it the way I think she approached it and said, "You know what? Let's go to Greece." You know what I'm saying? I got you. Is that him having a lack of confidence in himself, or is that truly undermining? Is it the
It's
approach?
undermining because that's how he interpreted it. You have to mold yourself to your man. However your man perceives it, that's what it is. If you're not going to mold yourself to him to do things how he wants you to do them and to move how he wants you to move, then the relationship's never going to work. We talking about this right and wrong or whatever. That's all subjective. To him, it was wrong. So that made it wrong in that relationship. And if
But
you
it's
want to
just
play the
it's a
whatever
gift
game,
though.
you're going to be with a different man. You're not going to be with that man.
But it's a gift though. If it's just a gift,
no,
what's the big deal?
It's a gift to you. It's an insult to another man. See, that's what we're not getting. It was an insult to that man. We can't say it's a gift because some people are okay with things that other people just aren't. It's not a right or wrong to it. It's just how you feel. And however a man feel in that relationship, if you want to be with that man, you better understand how he feel and you better make it right with him. You don't need to be saying, oh, well, CJ said he would have been happy if I did, because you're going to be without a man. And you're going to be without that man. That's what's going to end up happening.
Go ahead, Chris.
See, these people want to be wise. I'm trying to tell you, y'all forsaken wisdom.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Are you done, Jay? I don't want to interrupt you. Yeah.
Go ahead. You got it.
An example. So I don't know if she'll mind me saying this, but Danielle, I think we were on a different panel, and we were saying that cheating doesn't always have to be sexual. And she was saying that her husband came home with a shirt that some woman at his job bought him. And she was mad because she was like, why is he buying you a shirt? That means that she's imagining with this shirt on, and it bothered her. To her, that was cheating and it was not okay, right? The husband, it seems they're still together, obviously, and they're doing well. So I'm assuming she told him that's not okay, and he respected that wasn't okay. And he either got rid of the shirt, he took it back, or whatever. I'm assuming. I don't remember the end of the story, but I'm assuming that's what happened. He respected that was not okay to her, that it hurt her. I don't understand why we can't we as women always push back on the needs of men. If it's not okay to them, it should be okay. I don't understand why this bothers you, but I want to understand why it bothers you. He said, and I'm using your example because you gave this example. The other background, I'm not applying that, but in a general situation, he said, December, let me try and pay for it. The submissive feminine thing to do is say, okay. And the word that we use, or the phrase we use, is to lean back and let him take care of it, because that's what he wants to do. And that's what's going to make him feel good as a man. It doesn't matter if it doesn't really make sense to us as women, but for him, it didn't feel okay. And for example, I don't know more about it. I don't know too much about it, but I've seen this in other relationships as well. They're like, why can't I just do this? And the men feel so emasculated. And the women don't understand why, but that's just how men are. And just like how we want them to understand why we want loyalty and why we want the things that we want, we should understand why they want the things that they want, or at least respect it. And it's a huge double standard. And I think most of us make this mistake because we don't know this, but I see this very often.
Well, let me ask you this though. Well, hold on. Let me just ask this. If y'all, let's just say y'all started off in a relationship and y'all made the same amount, right? Or maybe he made a little bit more, and you just happen to get so good at your job that you started to make more than him. Is that undermining him?
Well, my income doesn't matter. If he's paying in the house, he's taking care of all the expenses. What I make at my job doesn't matter.
Right. So,
like I was saying, or like she was saying, that's up to the man whether he feels undermined or not, and that's where the frustration comes in, because it's like, okay, so you have these average dudes who feel threatened, then you have these dudes who make a decent amount of money, who still feel threatened. It's like, I understand you guys are saying modern women this and modern women that, but I mean, like, at this rate, it just seems like it's the man. Like at this rate, it just seems like it's the man.
It's not feel threatened. Y'all keep saying feel threatened. It's not a feel threatened thing.
I'm not talking about like how you guys feel. I'm just saying what has been said to me. Like, I'm saying,
the man told you he felt threatened.
Yes, I've had a man tell me, like, I feel like you're trying to take my position, and I'm like,
as a man, yeah, you're
but that's not feeling threatened.
All right, go ahead. We're gonna go around. Go ahead, Japrice. Go ahead.
when my husband and I first got married, before we had a child, I had a black Beetle. You know, it's like a 2-door, 4 seats, but it's 2-door. So we were having a baby. It was time for me to get a new car, and of course, my husband had his car, but so my baby car, the car seat couldn't fit in my buck, so we needed to get another car for myself, so when my husband's at work and stuff, I can be able to go back and forth to the doctor and all this stuff. So my parents um came with an idea and talked to my husband saying that they were going to buy me. I wanted a Prius, and they were going to buy me a brand new Prius, a 2019 Prius. And my husband said no. He said no. I wouldn't allow you guys to do that. My husband said he's gonna give me what he could afford. He got me a Prius. It's used in the 2010 or 9, and I was at first, with me not understanding, I was like, "Hey, why would you say no? Like, let my parents buy me a brand new car. What do you like? What do you say no for?" He's like, "No, I won't. I will feel less of a man because I am responsible for you and you're my wife, and if whatever I can afford is what you should be okay with." And my Prius, I drive it like it's a Mercedes, but so that's just, I understood. And I also talked to my dad about. He was like, "No, you have to listen to what your husband is saying." So, no new Prius for me.
I think respectfully, that's a totally different situation. She was in a relationship with this man, and she was trying to do something for him.
It's the principle.
It's just like the man not.
I have an
like a man kind of thing, but I do get what you're saying, Dre. Like, you seem to me like you have a really good heart, and you want to do things for you. What you have, like your intentions are so good, and in a perfect world, it shouldn't bother. But like, that's just men and women, yin and yang. That's just how it is. But I totally, maybe if it was your husband, by all means, go to Greece because your money could be going towards vacations. But if it's just a guy that you're like dating a relationship with, he would probably feel some kind of way because he probably didn't know you that well and know your intentions, and he probably felt like she's trying to one up me. And that's just how men are. Like even like with dogs, even though we're not animals, when two boy dogs come around, this looks like a fight. It's like for dominance, and that's what probably he felt like you were trying to take his place in his words.
Let me throw some in, if I can.
Go ahead.
Jeree,
take this chicken out.
When you, when I hear your situation, I want to look at it just from a slightly different standpoint. Okay, how long? And if I'm getting too deep, tell me, how long had you all been together before the trip to Greece?
Like 6 months.
6 months. Okay. So you're relatively new, right? Would it be safe to say? I'm gonna tread lightly too. Okay. Would it be safe to say that one of the reasons why he didn't want to go on the trip is because he's in the process of trying to build trust in his ability to provide on your end? So he's trying to build up that confidence that you would need to look at him as a provider. And since the relationship is so brand new, this going to Greece, this trip, even though, as the panel has said, it's a wonderful idea, your heart was in the right place, but what he's trying to do at this particular point, and I can only speak for myself because that's what I heard when you made the statement. I'm hearing a young man who's looking at someone that he values, and he's trying to build trust in her so that she can look at him as a provider, as a protector. And if he can't do those things for you, then as they've already said, then he feels like he's less of a man because this is supposed to be his role, right? And I know a lot of people, a lot of brothers gonna kill me for saying this, but I'm gonna say it. Because he's in a relationship with you, he values your presence. And so he's doing everything that he possibly can to show you how much he values your presence. And so, like I said, maybe that's what he was trying to do. Build trust in you that you could look at him and see a protector and a provider. Maybe that's the reason why he said that he didn't want to go on the trip. And I think proof of that is, like you said at the end, he said, well, hold on. I tell you what, give me some time and maybe I can come through with it. Give me a little time and maybe I can get things together and I can provide this for us. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm at an age now where if you want to take me on a trip, hey, let me get a suitcase, let me get a couple pair of drawers, and we good to go. But
That's what I'm saying.
At his age, he might not be comfortable enough with the fact that he is a provider and a protector, that he would, he feel okay on going on that trip with you. That's just my thought now.
Now let me ask, do you think if you would have bought him a pair of Jordans, would he would have cared?
He didn't wear Jordans.
Well, I'm just saying, like, or if he would have bought if you would have bought a less expensive gift, would he have cared?
I feel like knowing what I know now, yeah, he would have cared, but it was never the problem of me listening to him not want me to do stuff. Like whenever it was posed and he said no, then that was the answer. No. It was, like I said, the problem was the explosion that happened afterwards. And that was a red flag for me, because then at that point, I don't feel safe. That you get so emotional about me just posing something, and then, you say no or whatever. And then all of a sudden there's these underlying issues that were festering this whole time you've never even communicated and mentioned. So that was the issue.
Why you keep posing stuff to him?
I'm sorry?
Why you keep posing stuff to him if you know he doesn't like that?
Because like I said, that's who I am. I'm not just gonna. I think the relationship ending was a positive thing that happened, because it was not good for both of us. Because me being who I am, I don't want to be around someone who I constantly feel like I have to hush myself with my true intentions, just to make him feel like, I'm not threatening him, or I'm not, I mean, all the things that he was saying, like, I'm not, I think that he wasn't shit and all that other stuff. Like, I just don't feel like that was something that I could excuse just because he was being a man.
Can I say something?
Yeah, hold on. Let me say this. Personally, I really think it was his lack of confidence, because if y'all together and you hit the lottery for $1 million, is he going to leave because now you have more money than him and and he feels less than and undermined? I think it's a lack of confidence, because I believe as a man, no matter what she's doing, you still supposed to stay on your grind and keep working and doing all that kind of stuff. It's nothing she can do for me, no matter how much money she make, that's gonna make me feel less than, because I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do as a man. And when you on that purpose and on that grind, it shouldn't matter. If you want to buy me a trip to Greece, let's go. I ain't got no problem with that, because you're not gonna make me feel insecure, because I still know what I bring to the table, regardless about how much money you got. It don't matter to me. So I really think it's a lack of confidence. And I don't know, because stuff like that can happen. She can come, even if you marry, you can come up on an absurd amount of money. Are you still gonna feel less than because maybe she got a raise, or maybe she hit the lottery? Like, I don't know. I can't co-sign that, respectfully.
Let me say this, and this is another reason why these relationships aren't gonna last. This is not about feeling threatened or this is about blatant disrespect. And I'm gonna take it away from this personal situation that we talking about. Men live and die by the principle. Hold on. Men live and die by the principle of things. It's one man, you can walk in his shoes, you ain't gotta take your shoes off. It's another man, you go in his house, you gotta take your shoes off. Every man run his life differently, but it's according to that man. If that man say it's a problem, and then women, the man's gonna give you all the answers to the relationship. But the Gene, that's why these relationships not gonna last. The man will give them the answer. They will find a problem with the answer that they give them. See, it's over with long term. The man will tell you what is right and what is wrong. If you are not going to abide by his law, the law of his home, it's never gonna work. The Japrice told y'all in her example, she wanted the brand new car from her parents. Her man said, nah, it ain't about to go down like that. She accepted it, and guess what? She got a happy home with that man. It's some things you don't have to understand. It's the principle. If that man say it, that's the law. You don't need to be questioning or wondering or whatever. You're going to end up without that man, and that's what we're going to see. The man will give you the answer. Well, maybe I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna test him on another day. He gonna give you the answer. Well, I'm gonna test him on another day. It's gonna go bad, and that's what happens in these relationships. When the man says something, they're gonna say, "Well, this other man, it's not a problem for him. You're gonna have to go be with that other man because you can't be with him because
I
he
agree.
told
Now
you the
that
answer.
I agree
You
with.
didn't
I
accept
agree with.
I had already said
You
that.
can't accept it.
I had already said that relationship just wasn't gonna work. Period.
Right. She did, but I was really just trying to wrap my head around what is wrong with that. So, Ji, could your woman take you on a trip?
Yeah, my woman could take me on a trip because I don't view it that way. But
Right.
but also I don't split no bills. So she not paying for nothing anyway. So I don't view it as whatever. So for me, it's
Right.
okay. I don't see it as no other way because I'm not splitting no bills with no chick. So whatever money she got, okay, cool, whatever. But
Exactly. Didi
that's how
not
I
paying.
operate.
Didi not paying no bills in his house. So that's
Exactly.
what I'm saying. If and even if she was a millionaire, she's still not gonna pay no bills in his house because I'm still raised on
Exactly.
my principles as a man. So like I'm saying, even if you were dealing with a man who's making more or you making more than him, why does that matter if this woman wants to do something for you? That's my whole point.
Because it
If it
mattered
was
to him.
Yeah, all men are different. Like, okay, for example, I follow someone who discusses femininity. They're millionaires. She was, I think she was a millionaire before she met her husband. Okay. After they were married, he told her that she's not paying for anything. She doesn't even drive herself. He won't. If he's with her, she cannot drive. He won't let her because he thinks that's his job. She asked him. So I think when they first got married, he got her this really nice gift, and she said, I think she came to him and she was going to get him something in return for his birthday. And she was like, I don't know what color, but I want to get this for your birthday. And he said, no, don't get me anything for my birthday. Don't worry about it. That's my job. And this man, they're millionaires. She had rental properties before they were together. She has money. She has a thriving YouTube channel.
He's strong.
She's a consultant. Like, she has multiple streams of income just in her name. And he doesn't let her pay for anything. So as a man, he doesn't want that. He culturally and for him personally, he doesn't want that.
So no gifts, no nothing. She can't do anything for him.
No,
on that.
Not that she can't do anything, but when it comes to monetary things, he doesn't want
like that.
Yeah, he wants things you can't pay for. You know.
Okay.
I think men, not I think, but correct me if I'm wrong, men need to feel needed.
Absolutely.
No matter what, they need to feel needed in order for them to feel like a man. My husband doesn't receive gifts very well at all. I don't know if it's because it's a culture thing, and it could be because they're hit where he grew up. It's very patriarchal. So if I do get my husband something, he prefers me to like make it or bake it. So I mostly just bake him like food and stuff like that, or like his favorite dessert, because he doesn't do well with receiving gifts. He doesn't know like how to receive it, or like I remember my parents gave him like a birthday card, money in it, and he came home. He was like, "Why'd your parents?" It's a culture thing. It's definitely a culture thing. But like I was saying, I believe that men need to feel needed, and I believe that when it comes to like the financial thing.
Well, let me let the audience know right now. Oh, well, let me let the audience know right now. CJ loves gifts. I love them. Please, the gifts they don't want.
My stepdad.
Send them this way, and you can hit that Cash App and gift me right now if you like to. CJ love them, but go ahead, please go ahead.
I forgot my last thought, but I was just saying that I think with us women, like no matter how we slice it, no matter what we say, when we do have that upper hand, we are always going to have in the back of our mind that we don't need this person. We can always, do better, or we can always leave on our free will, which we can no matter what. But it's just like it's the attitude that comes with it, and I believe that's real. It may not be in anybody's case on this panel, but I believe that when women get with the man that they make more money with, it's the attitude that comes with it. And even though most women say like, well, I don't need him for his money, need him for other things, but men, what are men known for? To provide and protect. And if he can't do those basic things, he's gonna feel less of a man. And I want to ask you something, CJ. If she was a millionaire and she's not like paying any bills, like how would you guys feel needed in those kind of situations? Like if you said if she was a millionaire, she's not paying any bills in this household, so what would she need you for?
Because I know that I'm still a man and I'm thorough in what I say. No matter how much money she has, I'm a rare breed. Regardless of how much money she got, it doesn't matter. I'm still a rare breed. I know that a lot of dudes can't do what I do. And yeah, she can buy herself monetary things. That's cool and all that. But at the end of the day, I'm still a man. I'm confident in everything that I do. So
So
I'm sure I know her. I know that she wouldn't just do things for herself. She will contribute to a business. She will become an asset with her funds more so than a liability. But I'm not pocket watching her. You dig what I'm saying? If that was the case, because at the end of the day, I am still confident in my beliefs. Plus, on top of that, as we can see, there are plenty of women who are millionaires and high earners and all that kind of stuff. Regardless with all the money they got, they still unhappy. They still unhappy.
can I
So
ask? I'm sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you
I was going to ask. So, say she's a millionaire, and she wants to buy a house. Are you going to let her buy a house and take care of that?
Nope.
Whatever the
No.
taxes on
No.
that. So no, she's
Nope.
not.
She got to live with whatever I can provide.
No, she ain't. She definitely not gonna buy the house. No, absolutely not.
She has to live at my standard of living, or she got to go.
Well, look, Jeree, this is. I think this is what the brother's trying to say, and I totally agree with him. As men, when we say provider and protector, another way of saying is that we want to create an atmosphere where
Y'all
you
keep going.
can
I'm about to get the
rest.
chicken.
Well, send me some of that chicken, bro. Is it fried? Okay. Anyway, we're trying to create an atmosphere where our wives, our significant others, can rest in their femininity, right? And so, if you're doing things that are clearly within my role, right, then it's not resting in your femininity. It's not. You know, if I'm able to provide you with a home and pay all of the bills. So when you arrive home from work, you can sit down and the cares of the day just melt away. I think that's what the brothers are saying. That's what we want to create for our wives, our significant others.
It's hard for me to wrap my mind around that statement that I have millions of dollars, but that I came into after the relationship. But we're just gonna stay in the slums because that's what we can afford right now. On your I'm not.
What's more important?
I don't understand that. I don't.
Is it the man or the monetary things? What's more important? Is you being with this man or the monetary things?
But my thing is, you're saying, is it the man or the monetary things? I mean, and the same question has to be posed. Like, is it the relationship? Like, are we building, or are we just making you comfortable so you don't feel like you're intimidated, or you don't feel like I'm overstepping, or you don't feel like honestly, I feel like if we are in a relationship together, what is mine is yours and what is yours is mine. And I feel like if we want better for our family, if we're going to raise kids and I have this money, why are we not doing better for the entire family, entire household? Because you feel some type of way because it's not, you didn't come.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris. Chris, I thought you were raising your hand. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jay. What was you about to say?
Let me ask Gene this. Gene, now you the spiritual brother. Does that not sound like Eve persuading Adam to eat that fruit off the tree? In your opinion, does it sound like that? We could be doing better. We here, but we could be doing better. Does that not sound like that to you?
That's that's the premise of that whole story, brother. That's the premise of the story.
I'm trying, but no, hold on. Let me flush this out. Hold on. Let me flush this out.
Go ahead, Jay.
To me, the whole premise of we are here, we good. This is good. Something comes along and you perceive this thing to be better for whatever reason. All right. So now you want to step out of what we have in the order and with no care of the chaos that it's gonna cause, and it causes the chaos. So now we done ate this fruit. Now we all messed up. We way worse off. See, these are the principles.
She said this.
That
To
these
be fair,
stories
she said the
teach.
slums though. She did say the slums.
Every man's not gonna be in the slums, and it's still, even if you, it's the
Every
same
woman's
thing, because
not
that
coming
man is
to $1
still
million
protecting or
because
providing.
that's
See,
the
y'all trying to get
situation.
away from the
Trying to
principle.
focus based on like
Whether it's the slums or a tent, whatever, you're with this man, and it was okay for you to be with this man, but then something came along that you perceived to be better, and now it's no longer okay.
it's
You
not
just
like
need to leave
we're
that man.
leaving the man
The
to live in
principle won't change.
Beverly Hills. You saying, babe, let's go. You know what? It's fine. It's
Wait,
fine.
so
Listen, this
she
is the principle is being misunderstood, and that's why these relationships are going to continue to fail, because people don't want to understand this. You can't get around it. It is no getting around it.
So
Gene, you know
I
what I'm
think
talking
we
about.
have to be. I think we have to be practical as well, though. If y'all are living in an unsafe environment,
That's
and
extreme. That's
Yeah,
extreme.
that's what she said though. But that's what she.
$1 million. I mean,
But that's what she said though.
what if somebody comes into $1 million? Like, what if your girl comes?
Yeah,
into
I mean
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. That's
Listen,
what she said.
extreme.
listen. If
Like,
that man say no, and you want to be with that man, you
That's crazy.
better follow his rules and don't be out after dark, and whatever he has in place to keep you safe, you better follow
She
it to the
said, "Don't
T.
be out
Y'all
after
trying to get
dark."
away from the principle. I don't care what parameters you put on it. You either gonna follow that man or you not. You don't get to do it. But Brother Gene, do you follow Christ when it's comfortable?
No, I
Is
can't.
it just when it's comfortable, Brother Gene, or are
Not
you supposed
because
to do it at all times?
what
But is it
look,
good leadership to put
it's
your ego in the way at that when it's detrimental to your survival though? Like
If
that's a
that
whole totally
man says
different
it is,
situation.
if that man says it is, then that's what you do.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I'm not staying in no. Listen, that to me now that's pure ego. Especially if she said we in the slums and we living in a dangerous space, and she come up on some
Who's
money,
to
and
say
because we
something
got it,
better won't come?
What if
and
it's not?
she what?
Put it to the next level.
Jesus went and died on the cross. Gene, didn't Jesus die on the cross? What if Jesus would have said, God, this look kind of extreme right here? Why? See, we want to pick and choose when it's beneficial to us. People have forgotten the principle. And again, Brother Gene, that's why these relationships are gonna fail. People want to move to things once it gets discomfortable, and then they want to change the rules. You can't do it. It doesn't work. And that's why relationships fail time and time again. That's just what it is.
Yeah, but the what she presented was the slums though. So you welcome in poverty when you have a chance to escape it.
but now
If that
CJ,
man says, look, I got a 5-year plan for us, this is what it is, and you got with that man, and then all of a sudden you hit the lottery. If that man say, no, we gonna stay on this mission, you just gonna have to decide if following that man's leadership is important enough to you to have a man that has a vision and goals and leadership or whatever. But y'all not gonna get around it. If that man say it, that's what it is in his house. It ain't no getting around it. It ain't no you gonna out logic it. It ain't no whatever. If that man say it, his word is law in that house, and it's a rebellious spirit against it. And this is just what it is. And that's why these things fail. You either obey that man or you don't. And if you don't, you just got to go. And that's why these relationships are going to continue to fail, because everybody's going to keep on trying to move these goalposts, and it does not work.
I think someone in the comments made a good example. I wanted you to pin it.
Which
She
one?
said, Miss D. She said, because it's not the amount. Things come with things like material things come with attitudes, spirits, dynamics, and energies. Going against natural order can cause chaos and confusion, and that was perfectly said. As much as even the man, when they have money and all this stuff, a type of ego and a type of spirit comes with that person, and that's just but it's kind of more accepted when he do it, because that's what they are supposed to. They're supposed to provide and protect. But when us women, we get it. We have that kind of, we go like this kind of thing.
Well,
I
agree with that though. I agree with, because now Jay, made a point, and I want to dig into that point just a little bit deeper. Everybody, and I know y'all gonna be like, here he go, but everybody was fine. All of the two people that were inhabiting the garden were absolutely fine. They had their pick of the fruit, the vegetation. They were naming animals. They were, they were enjoying each other's company. And then the prospect of something more was introduced to them. And when that prospect was introduced and somebody fell for it, Now, whether you believe it or not, we're in the shape that we're in today because of that. So I get where JI is coming from. So if you're in a situation where you're stable, now I'm not going to use any extremes. I'm saying that if you find yourself in a stable situation and there's the prospect of more, then you need to examine what all is entailed in it. Just like Japri said, anything that is more, there has to be something that's going to be expected of you. What's expected? And if what's expected is going to drive a wedge in between you and your significant other, is it worth it?
But Gene, the example you just gave, Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, where things
Right.
were things were plentiful, they had plenty.
Right.
The example Jeree gave was they were in the slums. It wasn't no Garden of Eden. They were
Right.
in the slums. So if I cannot be mad at her if she wanted to get out of the slums. Who wants to stay in an impoverished situation just because we on an ego tip? Now, a good leader listens too. Now, it's a such thing as being practical as well. Why would I choose to stay when I know that this woman came up on this thing and she's offering like, babe, listen, we need to get up out of here for our safety. I'm saying that because that's the example she gave versus the example you gave of the Garden of Eden where it was plentiful. This woman, Eve, whatever her thing was, she just was greedy at the end of the day. She wanted to do more things than she was supposed to do.
I agree.
Her example, on the other hand, was we are impoverished and in the slums. I don't co-sign nobody living in the slums. And if they can get out, get out. A 5-year plan, the plan just got a lot easier because this woman has come up on this thing and she wants to be a partner and help out. That's crazy. That's ego
This is
talk to
worldly
me.
information. Gene, what part about where it say do what your husband say as long as it's comfortable? Do it say as long
But
as
she
it's
not a
comfortable?
Christian though. She not a Christian.
You
She
guys,
not a Christian.
I'm so
Good
sorry.
point. Good point. Good point. She's not a Christian, but I'm talking about to the greater audience of the black people. Most people claim Christian roots in our community, and we know that. Most people, most of these women will tell you that they're Christian. Now she's not, so I understand she does whatever she want to do. But I'm saying to most people,
Can I just tell you, I appreciate the panel, but I have a flight to catch tomorrow. So I'm gonna get off.
Okay,
Bring me
cool.
back
No
a
problem.
souvenir.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, you can come back anytime. I appreciate it.
All
yeah,
right.
safe travels.
Bye-bye.
All right, peace. But yeah, so go ahead.
But
What was you about to say?
I'm speaking to the greater audience. When these women claim Christianity or whatever, they do not follow it. You do not get to just do what your man says when it's comfortable or that's not submission. That is not following leadership. You don't just do it when it makes sense to you. What is that? You don't just do it because it makes sense to you. If that man, you either follow that man or you don't, and people trying to have it both ways. You can't talk out both sides of your neck. And the Bible say if you lukewarm, he gonna spit you out. People are being lukewarm on these things. As long as it makes sense to them, they want to do what they want to do. They don't want to be uncomfortable. Again, that's why these things continue to fail. We see it in our community. You cannot have it both ways. You either gonna do it right all the way or you gonna be all the way wrong. That's all there is to it. You can't logic your way out of it. That's all there is to it. And it's gonna always sound good. That's why I told you. That's why Eve ate the fruit. That's what we heard. Hey, we could be doing better. We could be doing better. Let's just do what we want to do. And we see where we get to. Whether you believe the story or not, the principle of the story is true. The moral of the story is true.
But JI, you talking about Eve as if she was not in the empire. She was in a plentiful situation. I think that's where the disconnect is coming from, because I'm still using the example that she gave. Her example was they were in the slums. But to me, it does matter though. If you telling me you're willing to stay in the dangerous, I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm talking about J.I. and CJ. So you telling me if your woman came up to you and you living in an impoverished situation, she said, hey, I got something that can contribute to make this situation better. As a leader, you don't think that's a good thing to do, to take some insight?
I'm saying if a man decide that for whatever reason that that is not the best case to go through, because in his wisdom, his discernment, whatever for his household, he decide that that's not what you need to be doing, then that's not what you need to do. You need to follow that man and his leadership. If that man says no, you
But what
need to
would you
trust it. You
do?
don't need to
I'm
just,
asking you. What would you do?
if it's me in that situation or whatever, it's listen, we got to follow my plan. I'm not taking the whatever.
So
If
you're
I got a
not.
plan, we
So
stick
you're
to
not
my
going.
plan.
You're not going.
I'm not going, because to me, it's
Okay,
a principle
I
to
can
these
respect
things.
that.
To me, it's the same thing as welfare. It's a principle to these things. People don't understand. It's a price to be paid for these things. People don't understand. They think that it's just free. You lose something more just because you gain these monetary things. You lose something more within you that is going to ruin you over the long term. People don't understand these things.
So just so I'm clear, you're willing to be a millionaire around an impoverished situation because it's not the plan. Is that what you? That's just so
It's
I'm
not
clear.
about the money. It's about the principle. I'm gonna live at
Okay.
whatever I can provide, and we're gonna progress at whatever level I can provide. And if she's not cool with that, she gotta go. She gotta go. It's the principle of this thing. You don't
I can
turn this
respect.
man thing
I
on
mean,
and off just because money is presented and all kind of people gonna present all kind of stuff. It's always gonna be all
Is
kind of
that
stuff.
but is
It's no
that not
different
being
than
a
you
man
being down bad.
because the man accepts that though? That's not being a man
What if listen,
because
if it works for that man, that's why I said every man's different. If it worked for that man, hey, let him do it. It was white people back when black women, and I this is a powerful story, I never forget it. But it told me back when the black women, they were maids for the white people, right? It was Christmas time, and the maid had talked to the white woman about how she wanted to afford something for Christmas or whatever, but she couldn't afford it or whatever. So the white people gave her an extra bonus around Christmas time or whatever. And they said, hey, go buy that for your family, whatever. The husband made her give that money back. The husband made her give that money back. Now, some people will say, well, why she didn't just take that money and they have a Merry Christmas? No, the husband made her get that money back. He said, you don't bring them folks money in my house except for what you earn. It's bad enough. That was position back then. But he said, we're not taking no charity from the people because it's something that you lose by doing yourself. Now, some people will say, well, he should have just took it. Blah, blah, blah. They could have had a Merry Christmas, blah, blah, blah. It's the principle of some things that can't be bought. And I understand it's some people don't understand that. And some people just don't get it. Some people just not going to understand that. But
I
it is
get
what
what
it
you
is.
I get what you're saying in that aspect when you're talking about a charity, something that was given to you by another person. But I'm going off the example where she was talking about the lottery. That's one thing. That's one thing. I get what you're saying because if you're taking charity from somebody else, I understand the problem that could be had with that. But
It's the
if a
same to me.
okay,
you so
okay.
you think you think the lottery is charity?
It's the same to me. It's the principle of this woman has provided the way up and the man did not provide the way up. You, the man, you got to provide the way up. It ain't no way around that. It ain't, not for me. It ain't no way around that. It's only how I can get it. And if it's not good enough for her, she got to go. But it's a way to do this thing, and we're going to do it the way I say, or she got to go. It ain't no way around it. It ain't no way around it for me.
Okay.
okay.
All
Now,
right.
let
Go
me
ahead, King Gene. I'm
let
gonna
me
let everybody say their final words, and we're gonna have to wrap this up because I
okay.
got this food ready. But go ahead.
You how much chicken you got, man? Because you ain't think to cook me none of nothing, did you? Look how you do.
Man, you in Mississippi with all the good food, bro.
You
You
right
ain't got
about
no
that now.
excuse, and you
You
got a
right.
Waffle House. So go
Look,
ahead.
right down the street, kid folk. Wait, look. So I'm hearing what the two of you all are saying. Now, let me throw something. I want to change the situation. I want to alter it just a little bit, okay?
All right, go ahead.
Let's say for instance, my wife, we'll use me an example, okay? My wife won the lottery, right? And based upon her knowledge of me, would it be okay then if, based upon her knowledge of me, she says, okay, baby, we won this money. What do you want to do with it? We're in the slums, right? Now she doesn't say we're in the slum, but I'm realizing that we're in the slum. But if she says, okay, we got these resources, what would you like to do with these resources? And if I come to the conclusion and say, okay, since we have these, let's go purchase a home and get out of this neighborhood. Would that be any better? Talking
Go
to the
ahead,
brother.
Jr. Oh, you know
Okay, yeah.
me.
If that's
Married or
what
not, I'm flipping it. I'm flipping it. Married or not. But go ahead, Jr.
we already know how you getting it. Look, if that's what you determine to do with it, because there is no right or wrong. So if he decides that that's what he wants to do, then cool. And yeah, the way you presented it, it is better because in that situation, she humbled
I'm with you.
herself
I'm with
to
you.
her
Yeah.
man.
I see what you're
She
saying, nigga. I
humbled
see.
herself to her man. So that's a completely different situation. See, it's the principle of these things. People forget it's rarely what's actually done. It's the principle. It's why do you care if somebody step on your shoe? You're not gonna die. It's the principle of these things. So in your situation, it's way better because she humbled herself. She said, look, even though we came upon this, you know, you are the one that makes the decision, and whatever you say is gonna go. Now that is a
So it was
whole
her
different
approach. It's
situation.
the approach that matters.
Yeah, yes, it's that has a lot to do with it. The approach
But
has
it's
a
still,
lot to do with it.
but she still got the money though.
She
No,
does. But if she
at that
broke
point,
herself like
CJ,
that and humbled herself, that's a whole different situation.
So okay, so it wouldn't matter
at,
if she had the money. It's just her approach.
at that point though, CJ, is it shifts from being her money to money for the family.
The household's money. The household's money. And then
Right.
Can I add on to that?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So basically, that's why it's important that he uses marriage, because marriage typically have joint accounts and so everything goes into one bucket, basically. But the idea is what she did was she said, hey, we got this money. And when she talked to him, what she basically said is, I acknowledge you as a leader and I trust your decision making. The issue with the other example, and I don't really like using the slums because I think if a woman, if she has children, if she doesn't feel safe in an area and she makes a decision to leave, like even he said that, like if it's, is it your safety? Are you willing to leave the man for whatever? Is it worth it? If you decide that it's worth it, do you? But let's use a general example. He's providing you a stable lifestyle. If you make this money and you say, I'm going to buy us a better house, what you're saying without saying it is that what you provide for me isn't good enough.
Absolutely.
It's not what you said, but that's what a lot of men,
there you go,
they're interpreting. So it doesn't make sense to you because you're like, I just want a bigger house for my children. You know, I just want something bigger for us. But he's hearing it as what I'm giving you right now, what I can earn for you as a plumber or as whatever, even a doctor or whatever, isn't good enough for you. You don't trust me to get you the things that you want. You don't trust me to lead this family. So it's so much, that's what he's saying, is the principle of the thing. It's how you walk and how you speak to this person. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. That was a perfect example. It's how things are interpreted.
There you go.
And how that person processes it that matters. It's the same thing with the shirt. Danielle's husband, he just took a shirt as a gift. He thought it was nice. But for her, it's like, no, this woman wants you. The way that she interpreted it mattered. Those things matter, and like that needs to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
That person feels in a relationship, you chose that person. How he feels matters.
Okay.
It's something about the humbleness of a woman when she is in a position that may be a little bit better than the man she's with, and particularly in marriage. That's why I was like, marriage is important to me. To be specific, is because if I was to win that money, I would go straight to my husband and say, hey, we have this money. I will automatically trust my husband because he makes better decisions than I. So I will automatically just, give it to my husband. Hey, let's do something with it. Like in a position that we are in now, I was in the military, so I have a GI Bill, a home loan that I could be able to get for a penny down. So since my husband and I weren't married when I was in the military, only the house will only be in my name, but it will be in my husband's name if he has the income that could equate to, I forgot how it goes. So so we live in an apartment. We live like in a condominium thing that we're renting now. So I approached him with that because I know that we both want a house. So he said, no, I'm just going to save some money for now. I'm going to save some money for now. And until I get the money, then we'll move to a house. So we can move into a house right now with my loan for a penny down. But I'm following my husband's. I trust, that he is going to save that money and that he's going to, we may not need to use my home loan because the house will only have to be in my name for like 5 years or something like that. Let's just say something happens to me. He won't get, I think he would get the house, but it's a whole thing. Buying a house is so difficult, but basically, his name won't be in the home, and I wouldn't want that either. So I listened to my husband, and I'm like, okay, yes, yeah, we'll stay here, and I'm totally okay with it.
I think, to be fair, if any woman, whether she won that kind of money or however she obtained that kind of money, if she's with a man she truly values and respects, she's not going to say, we need to do this. And I never looked at it from the way she was presenting it from that angle. I would expect Didi to be like, okay, what we finna do with this money? What you want to do? What do you want to do? Let's do it. I never took it as what the way Jeree was presenting it as, we need to do this because of this, because I say so. I never took it as that. I took it as an opportunity to simply put from her extreme and what she's talking about, I took it as an opportunity to just simply put ourselves in a better position because she just happened to come up on the money. That's what I meant from it. And if we are in a position that we're already doing well, and this woman totally wants to go off my plan, that's a different situation. And if she's being disrespectful with it, then yes. I automatically assume, and she made a comment, and maybe I am jaded because I do, I'm in a very good situation, so I look at things a little different. I automatically assume. So maybe most women wouldn't come to their man like that. Or maybe most women would be like, oh, we finna do this, or we about to do that. She would never come at me like that. You know what I'm saying? She would never disrespect me like that. So, and just like, if I won $1 million, I'm like, all right, baby, I'm finna get you something. What you need? Are you good? What are some things that but we expected to do that anyway. But yeah, man. So I feel with everybody. What's the difference?
Here's the difference. Let me say this before we wrap up. Here's the difference. And Brother Gene knew what he was doing. He's a wise man. He knew what he did. He changed it and he fixed it so that that woman humbled herself specifically to her husband. These other examples, it's okay, I got this, so now this is about to happen out of man. It wasn't no man included in that, whatever. It was, we going from point A to point B because of me. It wasn't your leadership is still intact. You still the head, blah, 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 because people get this thing mixed up about this money and stuff, and you can't get around the principle. You can't do it. People live and die by principle every day. It's people that ain't spoke to they parents or their brothers and sisters in 30 years over the principle. And you look back and be like, man, that was so dumb. It's the principle. People live and die by, I'm trying to tell you, can't get around it. So if you are in a situation and that man determines, okay, because nobody ever said the woman gonna humble herself to the husband till Gene said it. And that man says no, and you say yes. The minute that man said no, and you tried to turn that no into a yes because you think you got the money or whatever, it's already gone. It's already too late at that point because you did not come to him in the right way. And people don't think these things are important enough to say it and to do it a certain way, but the way you do things means everything. And our lack of relationships, and you can see it in the evidence in our lack of ability to sustain relationships. It speaks for itself. People don't think these things matter, but apparently they do. And this woman on the bottom, Japrice, she has this wisdom, however she got it, whether she was laced that way. I don't know if she was laced that way, she was raised to be that way, or she just naturally got it, or she learned along the way. But she said, I had an ability to get a house, but my husband wouldn't be able to be on it. My husband said no, I followed my husband. I had an ability to get a car, but my husband said no, I'm going to do whatever. She values her husband enough to say, I'm not going to do what I want to do or whatever. I'm going to do what he says. And you know what she's going to have as a result? She's going to have a family. And that's all there is to it. It ain't no getting around this thing. You can't get around it.
All righty. So I'm gonna let everybody say their last words, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. I appreciate everybody for coming up on the panel. I think we had a great discussion, as always. Shout out to the new subscribers that subscribed during the broadcast. I appreciate y'all. So J.I. said his last words. Go ahead, King. Just no, let me do ladies first. Let me do ladies first. I'm gonna say the wise little with some seasoned gentlemen for the last one. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
I didn't want to make this comment really fast. It doesn't even have to be money. It can be small things as well. One lesson that I learned from my dad indirectly, we were in North Carolina with his side of the family. My dad's from North Carolina. And my grandmother asked my dad to take the trash out. And he said, okay, I will. He was cutting an avocado for my aunt. They were going to make guacamole. He's like, I'll do it after this. And my grandma didn't want to wait any longer, so she took the trash out. And my dad got so mad, and he was like, see, this is a problem with women. When we don't do things the way you want us to do it, you just step on our toes. And I was like, to me, he just took the trash out. But to him, it was like, you're not going to let me do things the way that I need to do. You don't trust that I'm going to get it done. And I thought that was so interesting. I thought it was so interesting. And this is something that's so common. Like, I made this mistake last week. My partner's buying a house right now. And I was like, buying a house is very tight. I was like, if you need me to help here, let me know, I'll help. And he goes, no, I got it. I'm a man. And I was like, oh shoot, I did it. I almost emasculated him. I didn't realize it, but like we make these mistakes we make it so often. And so it can be small, it can be something as big as buying a house, but it's very common. But to wrap things up, thanks so much, CJ, for having me. This was great. Yeah, I love this series you're doing. And so yeah, thanks for having me.
Befuddled, yeah. This is the Befuddled series. Shout out to King Gene for that. Japrice, go ahead.
Okay. So thank you so much, CJ, for allowing me to be a part of your podcast. Again, I enjoy this so much. This is like the light of my day. I was when my husband come home, I'm like, I have a podcast today. So take Adam, take the take. But I just honestly, I guess this is like the light of my day. Honestly, I love stuff like this, and I don't get to talk to other adults that much because I'm always at home with the baby. So, but I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed panels like this, and they're very good, as far as like within the Black community. But I want us to think about like at the end of coming up with solutions, because we all have a lot to say about things, and I feel like there shouldn't be room. There shouldn't be that much room for gray areas, either right or left. Like a standard, like I always talk about. And I wanted to say this when the ladies were on, but hopefully they'll watch this. I don't want them to feel attacked. It's more so, I wouldn't even say correction, but I would say, kind of trying to tell them, what works, and trying to, steer them from the path that they could be going down. I believe these are very good, and I don't believe that they should take it as being attacked. I don't see anything wrong with a little bit of shaming, because if it's not right with how you're thinking, someone should, if you don't have that direct person in your family, like a mother or a grandmother, that's telling you, you should be totally receptive to correction, or someone telling you, hey, this not a good path that you're going down, try this. So yeah, so solutions at the end we talk about, and yeah, that's it.
What's up? Absolutely. We can definitely do that. All right. Last but not least, the big homie, the uncle of the group, King Jizzle. What's going on? Befuddled.
Well, the last podcast we did, CJ, I was befuddled. I am gratified at this point, because the conversation that we had tonight, I think we really made some headway, because when you look at relationships in general, it's about, just like G.I. said, it's about the principle, and whether or not we are willing to abide by the principles that are provided by the person that we love, our significant other. They lay down certain things that they require, and if it's not too much, we should honor those things. But now, at the same time, I don't have any difficulty with looking at the standards that our grandparents, our great grandparents had in play, and at least trying some of those things, because they were able to produce strong and healthy families. So, I mean, if they were able to do that, there has to be something in that recipe that'll still work today. And if possible, we need to get back to that. So, once again, thank you, CJ, for having me on, bro. I really appreciated the panel. Everybody was on fire tonight. They really
Yeah,
were.
man. I really do. Oh, damn it. I deleted my thought. I really appreciate the opposing views, and I like that. And I think it's important. I think it's good when everybody don't agree. Um, I think it makes for better understanding into a different person's point of view, and it also makes good content. Um, at the end of the day, I really think, because that honestly, this is at the core of it all, is all subjective. When we get down to the nitty gritty, people have their own perspectives. People have what work for them and what don't work for them. What may work for somebody, what may work for King Gene, what may work for me, simply may not work for another person. And I get that. But I do think it's important that people present their situations and their outlooks on life and scenarios, and maybe it can help somebody in whatever situation or space they may be in. So, um, yeah, that's how I feel about it. So if everybody want to go shout out their platforms, I'm about to pull up y'all on the solo screen. Japrice, I know you hate that, but I'm gonna come to you last on the solo screen. So I'm gonna go to Chris first.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Chris. You guys can follow me at The Blooming Ebony here on YouTube and also on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony. This was a really great show. Thanks so much, CJ. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on CJ's channel if you're watching the replay. And that is all. Have a good night, everyone. Happy blooming.
Happy blooming. I like that. Ji, the newest addition to the family, somebody I've really grown to take a liking to. His commentary is hilarious. Go ahead, homie.
Appreciate that. That was a great conversation. Listen, short and sweet. I don't really have a channel to promote. You can go follow my channel. I got a couple videos on there, but I'm not into it like that. Listen, the young lady Japri, she said she wanted solutions. If you want to be with a man, do what that man tell you to do. It's that simple. Stop trying to be right. If you can be with that man or you can be right, choose one. Choose one. This is how it's always been. It's that simple. And on that note, peace.
All right, but don't go yet. Don't go yet. But all right.
Oh yeah, joke of the day. Okay.
That's right. Go ahead, Caprice. You muted. You're muted.
Okay. See, that's why I'm like being on. I'm just kidding. But I don't have a channel, and I also don't have an Instagram anymore. I do have a Facebook, Caprice Yoga. But that's it. Bye.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's all time for y'all favorite part and the highlight of y'all year, day, minutes, and hours. It is time for the joke of the day. All right. What do you call an angry musician flipping someone off? What do you call an angry musician flipping someone off? A songbird. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I've been here all week. Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you. I'm going on tour with this comedy stuff. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to send CJ a gift, don't hesitate. And if your woman hit the lottery and you don't want it, they can definitely send it to the Cash App. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm gonna flip it. But ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I bid you adieu. Peace.